Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, my brothers. I am on vacation mode already. Got my Samoan shirt and my Samoan necklace gift from one of my Samoan aunties. And just for fun, I like to be able to dress up even though I'm here at home. Honestly, it was a beautiful day outside, and I have been in here working my butt off, doing research and playing with the software, trying to get something new for you guys to have fun with. I didn't get a notification on my phone for some reason, so I know a lot of people out there they're not gonna get a notification. Apparently, that's just the way that YouTube is doing things. With that being said, hey Ozzy, how are you, my friend? Good to see you on here. And Robert, always good to see you here, big bro. Very, very good to see you. I had to go earlier because I had to pick up my wife and my daughter. They had a little incident that we had to go take care of. So that wasn't too long. I have been sitting here working what you guys been doing, whatever else you have been doing. But you know what? As much as the leftists like to hate and say that I don't have a job, and maybe for what they want to do, for what they think a job is, yeah, I don't have a job. I decided to do this instead, and that's just me. Nobody has to do it, but I decided to do it. I'm taking a big, huge pay cut. Huge. I'm making less than half of what I used to make before. So if that's not dedication, I don't know what is. So with that being said, MySpeak, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Right. Congress actually gets 2 months. Congress gets 2 months vacations. 2 months vacation, paid, and they're making anywhere between 174 to $200,000 plus. It seems like now people get rich. Thank you, Mind Speak. Appreciate it. Feeling pretty fresh, cool. Cool Cat Renee. How are you, my friend? Good to see you on here. Yeah, I noticed you were here earlier, but I was trying to focus on what we were talking about, and I didn't want to be distracted too much. So hopefully you guys understand when that happens. What do we got here? KT, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. So, of course, as always, since the problems are not being solved, we have to continue to talk about it. Now, sometimes you guys may have some information that I haven't seen yet, and I'm happy when you guys actually share those things with me. How do you guys like the lighting? Is the lighting a little bit too much? Too much? I think it's okay. I mean, feels nice. Feels nice and warm and cool. You know, I do what I can when I can do it. Sergeant Sear, how are you? How are you feeling? Hope you're doing better. Hope you're healing just fine there, my friend. Good to see you on here. Captain Olimar, it's a clown lover. Apparently, he puts 3 clowns on there to entertain himself. I got a. I saw a video earlier. You know, I don't know if you guys do this, but I try to put a little bit of orange on me. I saw a video of this guy. He gets on the subway. It's just only one lady. There's this white lady in the subway sitting in the back, and this big black dude comes in. There's nobody else in the subway. He comes in and just starts beating the mess out of this lady. Those kind of things upset me, you know, and made me feel like I was there. But if I was there, I'd probably be in prison. But you know, it bothers me that we have these things going on in our country. And you know, you guys, you and I, we both know that there is people that have been committing a lot of fraud. And I'm not naming just a particular party, but there has been people committing fraud. Okay, and this is on both sides of the aisle, just people in general. There's a lot of people that pretend to be something that they're not. It is what it is. Take information with a grain of salt. But we have people that have been committing fraud for so long, and they've been getting away with it because when you get soft on crime, that's what happens. When politicians are in power for a long time and they know that they can get away with stuff, they're going to continue to get away with it. And that's just the way it is. It is the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Whoa, whoa. Aylin Chavez, what's up with the gay thrift store blouse? What? What is wrong with this guy? You are insulting the Samoan culture. Why would you do that? Why would you come in here instead of just saying, hey, how are you? You come in right away just being hateful, insulting. I'm trying to, you know, be on a different vibe here, on a different level. But you guys just love to get the negative Dennis out, don't you? You guys like that interaction. Well, I'm going to try not to pay attention to you too much. But anyway, you know, we got politicians that have been getting away with crime for so long. Fraud. Nothing happens to them. They don't go to jail. Nobody cares about what happens. And they just keep getting away with it. You know, and I see the people who actually care, or, well, supposedly, people that notice, you know, these things that are in Congress or in the Senate, they just let it go. Some of them speak up. Others, they're just like, well, I don't want to show what I've done wrong, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and let them go with whatever they got. And, you know, I got a post that came through my feed. Now, I'm going to mention her because she came directly into my feed. And Ilhan Omar says, impeach this insane, crazy guy in the office. Doesn't even call him president. We know where her loyalty lies. It's with the Somalian president. I get it. But let me tell you something. If you believe, if Congress, let's say I was in Congress or in Senate, if I believe that the president is not my president, I want you to know that the Congress that the Senate, that the governor, that the senators, they are not mine either. So I should be able to do whatever the hell I want, right? No, wrong. They are my Congress, my Senate, my governor, my mayors, whether I like them or not. They are in the position where they are. And whether I like it or not, I have to respect that they have that position. Now I can clown and call them names and stuff, but they still hold a position. Okay, so with Ilhan Omar, with Rashida Tlaib, these people are they're Palestinian, Somalian, and they have never assimilated to the United States American culture, and I think that's a huge problem. It is a huge problem. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It's time to let the hair loose. My man, what's going on, man? I see you. Jason Beatrice, how are you, my friend? Good to see you here in the chat. I don't know. These guys come up with some names, and then they wonder why I call them names. It's like they ask for it and then they forget about it. So cheese 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 crust. I don't think you know what assimilate means. I think the description of assimilate in your little brain and assimilate to what I understand, I don't think you understand what that means. See, when I say I assimilate to the United States, assimilating means that I respect the laws of this country. I respect the people. I learn the language. I learn to know that we have rights and freedoms and human rights, and I know that there's a history, and I try to learn it, and I try to own it. As an American citizen, I made an oath to this country, and I accepted all of the history, good and bad. I accepted the responsibility that every other American citizen is supposed to have. And that means that we are here to respect the law, to be prosperous, right? We are all here to pursuit of happiness. We're here to respect our Constitution. But we also are here to tell invaders to get the hell out. Nobody illegal should be in this country. And it's sad that till this day, the Democrats and a lot of Americans that are subconsciously racist, they really believe that illegal immigrants should be here because nobody else can mow the lawn. Nobody else can clean their toilets. Nobody else can clean their houses. That is ridiculous. That is very crazy. And I think that if we're going to have migrants in here working with a permit, they need to get paid well, just like an American will. Part of the reason why we want to make sure that these people are here legally is because we want to make sure that our wages are always fair. Because as long as you have illegal immigrants in here, they will always cut down the price. I'm going to tell you right now that there was a lot of illegals that were doing the service that I was doing, charging $1,200. They were doing it for $300. So guess where the business is going to go? You gotta admit that's where it goes. I know people that have been painter contractors, man, thousands of dollars, and then other people that are illegal that they just want to make that money. $1,000 is good for them. $2,000, $5,000 is good for them. For the American people that know how much it costs to have a business, a legitimate business, where they're going to hire people, right? They're either going to take the taxes out, they're going to pay payroll tax, and they're going to do, excise tax and all this other stuff that they have to take care of in a legit business, insurance, etc. Everything has to be the same. I will never say that illegal immigrants should be allowed in this country so that we can have cheap laborers in the United States of America. If we have HB1 visas, right, or H1B visas in here, there's people that are committing fraud with those visas. There's people that come in here with like a fake college degree, master's degree in technology, and they get a visa. They come here, they get a temporary HB1 visa to stay here and do tech work, and instead they create a business, because what they do is they get these visas to come here, and then they can bring their spouse, and then they open up businesses under their spouse's name, and then they work the business. There was this one journalist going out there trying to find some fraud, and she went to this Indian guy that had a taco truck, right? But it's Indian food, I guess. And what's crazy is, so the guy gets the HB1 visa to come in here. I think it's HB1 visa to come over here and do a high tech job that he doesn't know how to do. And instead, they have multiple business. Well, they have a business with multiple trucks, food trucks, under the wife's name. But then the wife doesn't even work them. The wife is at home with the kids, while he, that is supposed to be working in the high-tech job, is actually running his own business under his wife's name, which, by the way, it's illegal. Just in case you didn't understand where I was going with that. That is crazy. Not taco truck. Yeah, it's a food truck. How's that? A food truck. Not foot, food. A food truck. That's funny. Taco truck. I do have an accent, but I think you're more deaf. I think you're a little bit more deaf than you actually think that you understand my accent. So I find it interesting when I have people with Spanish names trying to make fun of my accent. That is crazy. That is crazy. Okay, here you go. XK. Retardation, I cannot cure that. If you don't believe me, look it up. Here, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's see if I can find a video for you. Let me see if this is one of them.
A confrontation of Texas Street is now going viral and sparking a wider debate about H-1B visa rules.
Okay, she has a heavier accent than I do, but why don't we go ahead and take a listen anyway? Let me share my display with you. And let's take a listen.
Side businesses and immigration scrutiny in the United States. The incident involves an Indian tech professional, a food truck, and a self-described whistleblower, and social media is sharply divided on this. The video shows US-based whistleblower Sarah Gonzalez approaching an Indian food truck called the Golconda Express. She confronts a man identified as Naveen Tummala and claims that he is running an illegal business while on H-1B visa. Illegal? A big question mark. Gonzalez alleges that Tummala works for Flexera Global Inc., but also operating the food truck, which she described as the H-1B scam. During the exchange, Tummala confirmed that he is on H-1B visa, but denies owning or operating the truck. He says the business belongs to his wife and that he only helps occasionally while with the technical issues. He also adds that he is not being paid and simply supporting his family. Tummala also says that he knows that the recipes as the chef, but insists that he does not work there and never gets a salary from that. The conversation quickly turned heated. Gonzalez repeatedly accuses him of lying and claims that she has proofs that he works full-time at the truck. Tummala pushes back, saying that he understands the rules of his visa and he has done nothing wrong. He also questions whether helping a spouse informally should be treated illegal employment or not. And at this point,
American citizen, buddy. The hate is great with this one. Anyways, that's exactly what that is. So if you didn't know, now you know. Now, the thing is that he goes around and says he's only helping his wife. Now, tell me something. Why would he have an HB1 visa, why would he have that and then put a business under his wife's name, and then he's the one working them while his wife is at home? Why would they do that? All right. So I'm gonna tell you something. I will give you a chance to call in. If you don't call in, I'm gonna get rid of you. Okay? I'm gonna have you call in, and let's see if you have balls to call in. And then I want you to go ahead and have a conversation with me. This guy's come in here hot today. Let's give it to him. Ah, I love it. Let's go. Let's do it. I mean, by now you should have that number ready. So why don't you go ahead and call me? XK. If you don't call, I'm going to ban you from this channel. So call in and say, this is XK. If you don't call me, I'll get rid of you. Alan Chaver, whatever, Alan Chavez, if you don't call, I'm going to get rid of you. I don't want garbage on my channel today. So go ahead. There's a 10-second delay, so I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance to call. Just, this evening, we're going to go ahead and try to keep people that want to have a conversation. If we get 10 people that want to have a conversation, I will be so happy to be here. Okay, thank you for stopping by, Cheese. Have a good one, bud. Who else wants to go? Let's see. Who else? Well, here you go. It's the phone number. Phone number right there. Right there. If you don't call by the time this song is over, I know that you're not serious. And we don't need to have you here. Okay? Okay. Call the number, keyboard warriors. Show me your skills. 40 seconds. There we go. I like it. Now show me. Hey, thanks for calling. Who's calling?
Hi, I'm Brody. I'm tuning into your stream on YouTube right now.
Hey, Brody. I wanted these guys that are talking a lot of bad, negative comments and vibes telling me that I'm a liar. I want them to prove what I'm lying about. But since you called in, how you doing, Brody?
I'm doing good. I see you have a conversation. I've been looking through YouTube live streams trying to get on one that's talking against Trump because I'm for Trump. What is your stance on the situation?
Yes, I support Trump.
Got you. Go red, man.
But why do you support Trump?
Well, I support a lot about him with our economy. He wants to centralize the fire service, and that's something I'm proud of, but I'm also concerned about.
Okay, sure.
He took down 57 Forest Service stations, and we're down to about 20 now. I could double check right now, but that is something I am concerned about. But the fact that he has the plan and the intention to open up a new federal department to essentially centralize not just the U.S. Forest Service or the Department of Interior or the Bureau of Land Management, et cetera, if the list goes on, it makes it a lot easier for people that have their red card or their FFT2 license and want to get into the fire industry.
The fire industry, what is that?
So wildland firefighters, I
Okay.
would say like myself, but currently I'm injured, so I'm missing out on this season.
Okay.
But last season I worked for CFPA. Oh wait, is this live right now?
Okay.
Um, Last season I worked my first year in the industry, and there's people that work federal, state crews, and contract crews, and with the federal system, there's so many different ways and companies, and the fact that it's bureaucracy that creates conflict, in my opinion. I'm not sure how to say this that well because I'm not very educated in general.
It's okay. But
But
do you think that do you think that your local fire department it's President Trump's responsibility? Is that what you think?
no, I'm saying the federal system, like the United States Forest Service has hot shots, and the Bureau of Land Management and Forest Service have smoke jumpers. I'm not saying structural. I'm saying wildland.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about that part of it, so I can't really speak too much about it. But on everything else that Trump is doing, I'm a big supporter of that. I know there's a lot of uncertainties right now, and I mean, every state is responsible, right, for their states and their cities and all that stuff. And I do appreciate the concern because I think that the firemen should have a lot of place to take care of our wildlife forests, and the rainforests that we do have here in the states. But I really don't know much about what he's been doing on that department, to be honest. So I can't really, jump in and start talking about it. I don't want to make up stuff on that. So whatever you hear me talking on here is because I know what I'm talking about. But I'm not gonna, try to give you my points on something that I haven't really researched at all. I've been more doing research on criminal activities, fraud here in the states, and international, domestic and foreign affairs, pretty much. So, yeah, not sorry about that, buddy. I wish I could give you more on that, but I don't have anything on that part. Let me see if I can take another caller because I want these guys to go ahead and give me some facts. Okay. Thank you so much for calling, my man. I appreciate you.
So,
Take care, bud.
you too.
All right, who's calling? Thank you for calling. Pinche.
Obviously, you're not Paco Herrera.
Okay. Oh, hell, so you're gonna give me some facts today, huh?
Well, he challenges people. Let's speak.
Okay. What do you have? What is the first thing that you come in here and say in my show? What encouraged you
First
to
and
to
foremost,
say not hello?
excuse me. First and foremost, you have insulted people that are overweight. You have insulted indigenous people. Yet you want to defend yourself when you
Just stick to the subject.
are. That's the subject.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about it?
What do you mean? What I want to talk about it?
Yeah. How do I offend fat people?
How do you offend? Do
Yeah.
you not listen to what you speak? And then you say, I speak to. You speak to a dog. You speak to a refrigerator. You speak to a tree. No. You say to. That's incorrect. You speak with a person. Again, you insult people, yet you are feeling high and mighty and consider yourself to be so intellectual when actually you don't know absolutely anything that you're speaking of.
Is that right? Like what?
Everything. Everything.
Oh, so now you're gonna teach me how to speak when you don't know how to speak yourself? What the hell? What kind of conversation are you having right now? You having a conversation with yourself?
You're being argumentative.
No,
Do
you're
you know
being
what
you're being you're
argumentative
being
is?
one-way communicator. That's not how you have a communication.
You know what argumentative is?
No, you come in here and be like, oh, this is you. No, give me something.
No, you
Give me
know
a
what
conversation.
argumentative is.
Give me a conversation.
You think you're so
What is it?
knowledgeable?
Okay.
Do you know what argumentative is?
Fine. Yes, I am all of those
Do you
things.
know what
Now what?
mendacious is?
Now what?
MENDACIOUS. Do you know what mendacious is?
What do
You
I
challenge
care
people.
about the words that you know? I don't care about the words you know. My point is,
No,
have
because
a
you
conversation.
try
Did you
throwing
call
little
in to
words.
tell me that I'm lying about something? Because that's what I asked. What am I lying about?
You're lying about absolutely everything. You
See,
know
that's
the
not an
only
answer.
reason
So give me one thing I lied about.
uh, one thing?
Just one.
Come on.
Yeah, just
There's
one.
too many things.
Yeah, just one. Don't stress your
What
brain.
happened to Bondi?
What happened?
Why is she out?
I haven't talked about Bondi.
Someone that you defended so much.
Well, I think she did a great job, but I haven't talked about Bondi. So when you say I lie about everything,
Okay, why? Why?
because she
Why?
did it. She did a good job. She did a good job.
Because
Yeah,
she
she
did a
made
good job.
mistakes. Are you perfect? No, you're not.
Are you?
Hell no. That's why I always acknowledge when I'm wrong.
Okay, well, you've never acknowledged.
I just told you you're right about everything you
Wrong.
said. Now what?
You've never acknowledged absolutely anything about you being wrong.
Sure.
You've never had,
I'm not wrong. I acknowledge that I am that. That I am that.
and I'll tell you what I see. You're just a brown noser.
To who?
You're a brown noser. I mean,
To who?
That's as simple.
You cannot be a brown noser if you're not getting
trying to
something in
oppress
return.
the government
Nope.
in
You
one
can
way or
only be a
another
brown
because
noser
you're
if you're getting
fearful-
something in
you're
return.
fearful of getting deported.
You see
And
this?
you know that
Passport,
you know.
American citizen, buddy.
Let me ask you a question. When you went back to Honduras and you were, going certain places, why was your face full of fear?
I was
Because
not
your
afraid.
own people. Oh, your face showed it all.
Well, what are you, a face reader now, right?
I mean, it was obvious. It was obvious. You were scared. You were scared.
And what about it? Is there a point?
You were scared.
Nope, I was not afraid at all.
Is that your own people don't even agree with you.
No, I was not afraid, so I don't care what you think. But that's your argument? What about it? What is the point you're trying to make with it?
My point is, what about Bondi? You're defending her, right?
I have not mentioned Bondi at all.
Who do you think is next in the administration to be kicked out because the ruler is in control? I assure you 100% that Patel is next to go. Because if he doesn't like what somebody says or what somebody does, or he doesn't feel that they're doing enough for him, he will just kick him in the butt. Y vámonos. Se acabó.
Yeah, so what's wrong with it? That's what you do. As a boss, you hire people. When they fail, you fire them. What's the deal?
Maybe he's your boss. I have one boss.
He's my president.
He's my Lord and Savior
He's
Jesus
my
Christ.
president. No,
I
that's
don't
my
have
savior.
any other boss.
That's my savior. But my president is President Trump. You know why you laugh? Because you have no common sense. I know you. I know my people, and I know exactly who you are. I already know who you are.
Never assume.
No, I know. I know who you are. You laugh because you have no answers.
M.E.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
No, no te
never
hagas el baboso. No, don't play dumb.
My father was a World War II veteran.
And so what?
Republican. We voted Republican. So what?
Yeah, so what?
If it weren't for him, you wouldn't be here.
I voted
You
for
voted
President
for
Trump.
American, and
What
you
about
say-
it?
And you say, so what to a World War II veteran?
But she's not calling, is she? What, you hiding behind your mom's skirt?
World War II, if it weren't for them, for the
Uh-huh.
veterans,
And that's
that
where you
were
that's what you
sacrificing
vase
their
yourself with?
lives, you would not be here. So you say, so what? Do you realize how disrespectful that is?
Even if your mother didn't go fight in World War II, it doesn't matter. I asked permission. And if this country wasn't what it is today, I wouldn't be here, would I?
Let me tell you one thing. I never knew my biological mother, but thank you for bringing
Well, that
that
makes
up.
sense. That
That's
makes
besides
sense.
the
That makes sense. You know, eres desmadrado. That's what it is.
It doesn't-
You're a desmadrado. You don't have no common sense. You that's
How
it.
does not make sense? I never knew my biological mother. How does that not make sense?
Yeah, you weren't raised right. I get it. I get it.
I wasn't raised right.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
was
like it.
raised by one of what are real men.
She may have been, but you're
That
not.
are online
She
panhandlers.
may have, but you're not. You bring shame right now to your grandma. You bring shame to your family right now. Talking ignorance. Talking ignorance.
Guarantee you I don't.
What is the hate? I came here legally. You don't like me. It's not because of what I say about Trump or Pam Bondi. Bullshit. The reason why you don't like me is because you are Latino and you think that I'm a sellout because I believe in legal immigration. That's the truth.
You're incorrect.
Oh, get out of
You're
here.
incorrect.
Yeah, right.
I don't
Yeah,
think
right.
correct.
Yeah, right.
You think you always want to be argumentative. You're incorrect.
It's a fact.
It has nothing
The
to
first
do
thing you
with
said
being
was,
Latino.
he's going to deport you. You know why you say that? Because subconsciously, you already know that you don't like me because I believe on legal immigration. Who's the bad American here?
You're not a U.S.-born citizen.
So what? I got permission.
There's a difference
A
between
privilege has been given.
There's a difference between citizenship
Yeah.
and there's a difference between being a U.S.-born citizen. Would you
No,
agree
there
with
is
that?
no difference. No, there isn't. You're retarded. So you're gonna tell me that your adopted brother is not your brother.
Mentally ill.
Your adopted brother is not your brother.
You're insulting people that are mentally ill.
Yeah, you are mentally ill, but so what? You are mentally ill. If you're retarded, just admit it. There's nothing wrong with it. But you're so retarded that you just called everybody that is adopted
That's a very
illegitimate.
offensive word for
Uh-huh.
people with mental illness.
Yeah, that's a medical word. That is a medical term.
Where did you get that from?
It is a medical term. Retarded. Let's look it up real quick.
Not, look it up. Google it if you're so smart, so intellectual. Google it. That's not the
Retard.
proper
This is
way
you.
to
Equals you. Delay or hold back in terms of progress, development, or accomplishment. That's a retard. That's you.
Okay.
Now what? Now
You
what?
tell me that medical term is still used
Yeah.
in mental hospitals.
A person who has an intellectual disability, often used as a general term.
I facilitated classes in communication. Okay.
But you know what? You suck. You suck at communication. Maybe you think you're talking. Maybe you think you're talking to a retard, but you're not talking to the mirror.
Why do you love to use that word?
Why do you hate it?
Because it's not the proper.
Why are
way
you
to
such a
address
wuss? Why are you such a wuss? Why are you
Okay,
teaching
let me ask
men?
you a question.
Why are you
Let me
teaching
ask you a
men
question.
to be
Let me
so
ask you a question.
sensitive?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If you're walking down the store aisle
Yeah.
and you see an autistic child,
Yeah.
and obviously the child is autistic or
Yeah. Retarded.
you know,
Yeah. Slow.
So you would have the balls, you would have the huevos to ask the father, "Hey, is he retarded?"
Why would I ask him? It's obvious.
Because if you would use that word, anyone would beat the fuck out of you.
I wish they would.
I'd be the
I
first
wish
one.
they
And you say
would.
You're a boxer, no tienes nada.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? This is a Kerry Second Amendment right statement. I wish somebody would try to kick my ass. Yeah, I wish they would. Yeah, there you go laughing because you feel stupid. But the word retard, you can call me a retard. I'm not going to be offended.
You don't want a golden gloves like me to whoop you.
Ah, please, Golden Glove my huevos. Get out of here. You think I don't know how to fight, bro? You think I don't know how to fight? Ah, sí, cabrón. Pinche gallo negro. Yeah, whatever, bro. You're feeling tough behind that keyboard, don't you? Yeah, you're feeling tough behind that keyboard, don't you? Ni me conoces, pendejo. Why you even saying it? You don't even know me. What, you see my face in here and that's not that, and you know already? You already know? Now let me ask you something. Why are you such a pussycat? Why can't you not handle the words? Huh? Why does it have to be to violence? Ah, yeah, whatever. You went to violence, didn't you? The words, listen, the reason why I ask people to come in here.
I had vatos like you in the pinta.
Yeah, whatever, bro. You lost your balls a long time ago. Eres buey. Eres un toro sin huevos, cabrón. Ya, te la tragas, cabrón, te la tragas. Aquí no vas a venir a chingar tu madre, cabrón. Este es mi canal, no el tuyo, pendejo. Así que si tú no respetas, cabrón, yo tampoco te voy a respetar. Así que a la verga contigo. Si quiere platicar, si usted quiere hablar, cabrón, hable, cabrón. Hable, pero no sea pendejo para hablar. No sea pendejo para hablar. Usted está llamando a mi canal, nadie lo ha invitado y viene aquí a faltarle respeto. You come in here and be disrespectful. Number one, this is my channel. This is my channel, and you're nobody. You're a nobody. You know why you're a nobody? Because you're retarded. You making handicapped, disabled people look so bad. I mean, so smart right now. You have taken away the word retarded. Now it's all yours. So here's the thing. What I ask is this. If you're saying that I'm lying, go ahead and call me and tell me what I'm lying about. When I ask you what I'm lying about, the first thing you say is like, oh my God, there's so many things. Oh my God, so many things. I said, let your brain rest for a little bit and think of just one thing. Pam Bondi. What about her? I'm not talking about Pam Bondi. I think Pam Bondi did a fantastic job. Did she make some mistakes? Absolutely. Should she have been fired? Absolutely. But the fact is, she still did a great job. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take another call from somebody else that wants to have a conversation. Have a good one. Just, I don't understand. Hey, thanks for calling. Who's calling? Not that I already know, but I had to ask.
Bill from Las Vegas.
I know, Mr. Bill. How are you? Oh my.
All right, Governor.
Oh man, you know what, Bill? I tell people this. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. If people try to argue with me and want to curse, oh, I can have a time of my life just cussing people out. But here's the difference that I'm trying to communicate with him. And I don't know if you were here, but he said that he teaches speech and how to communicate. I said,
Very well.
I said, if you think that I'm lying about something, don't just come in here and insult me. If you think I'm lying about something, call me and tell me what it is. Convince me that what I said is wrong and I'm lying. And then so he calls in, he starts a conversation with, you're a jerk and you're calling names and this. Okay, yes, it is true. Now, what were you calling about that I'm lying about? And they have so many things, Bill, that they can tell me one. It's too many.
Yeah. Yes, because the last reservoir of retarded people is to call people names when they can't debate.
You know what? I used the word retarded one time in front of a leftist, and he almost had a heart attack. Like like his face got so red, and I was like, why you get mad? He's like, oh, that word retarded, and he said something worse, like he said something. What the hell was it? What's the other word that they use now?
Mentally challenged.
Something. It was like, to me, it was like, wait a minute, that sounds worse than retard. Yeah. Retard just means slow to me. Yeah. Okay, retard is just slow. But when you say mentally disabled, intellectually disabled, that's insulting to me. I don't know. The way they see things is different, I guess. But I don't know. You come in and you use your title to try to defend the way you're talking to me. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that.
I wanted to add to the conversation.
Yes, sir.
About 5-6 years ago, all of this COVID thing was described by people who are more educated than me as a mass psychosis. Everybody was afraid. And I've been watching this guy named Gad Sad. Have you ever heard of him? GADSAAD?
No, I haven't.
You need to look him up on YouTube. He did a lecture that I watched. It's an hour and 1 minute or something like that. And he did it in Israel. He posted about 3 or 4 days ago. I've shared it with everybody. He completely describes what's wrong with people. He calls it suicidal empathy. Mm-hmm. And his summary is this: we've made everybody so empathetic to other people's challenges that we can't ever say that, you're retarded or you're not thinking good, or you're thinking like a woman, or you are whatever, and it sets everybody off because I'm a misogynist now,
Yeah.
and if I think that transgender people are mentally ill, which they are, then
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
transphobic, and if I
Transphobic.
think,
Yep.
and you have to watch this hour, man. It is the best hour. GADSAD, GADSAAD,
Let me see.
and it was posted this week or late last week. And it's a 1 hour lecture, and he explains the entire thing that's happened to our society. But he also has a plan for reversing it, and you got to listen to it. It was so impressive. So,
Yeah. You know, and it's like I don't mind people if they want to use a name to me, but here's the thing. If I am telling you if I'm telling you this, okay, listen. So I worked as a leasing consultant, right? I was a leasing agent.
right?
I worked in real estate, and
Yeah,
I can tell you that the way that property taxes are put on business owners who rent or
right,
are even when they're buying a house, it creates a burden. And I also mentioned that when there is a lot of people, that get jammed into it like a one bedroom apartment to because they can't afford rent,
right,
it causes apartments to fill up, and when they do, they make the rent higher because they're still
yep,
able to rent those apartments. So people
right,
call in, the people on the chat, liar, making this up, liar. Well, okay,
right, right,
so you can call me that. That's okay, but tell me why. Tell me why. I just gave you facts. I gave you
right,
my experience, what I know as a professional. I just gave you my experience as a professional. You called me a liar, so now call me and tell me how I'm lying. And that's the difference. If I just tell you, hey, listen, so if you do this and that, and then you respond in a manner that is very the opposite of what the hell we're talking about, I'm gonna
right,
call you a retard. And when I
right,
call them retards, they don't put something of value to prove me wrong that they're
right,
retarded.
right.
Instead, they act up into it and they just go even more into it. And it's just like, okay, I don't know how to help you there.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Well,
to challenge you so you can think for yourself.
yeah, well, there's no way to challenge them because they are, in fact, retarded. They don't think good, and they don't think good because they've allowed their empathy to overwhelm their senses and
Yeah,
common
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a great lecture. I encourage you to go spend an hour and
What's
watch
his name again? Let me take a look real quick.
GAD, and his last name is SAAD. GADSAD. It's on YouTube, and
Oh,
it's his
God's side. Okay,
recent
gotcha.
most recent post. It isn't under his name, it's some other organization out of Israel, but it's a lecture he did in Israel. The graphics are terrible. Ignore the graphics. Listen to what he has to say, particularly the last 30 minutes.
Let me read this quote that he has on here. He says, "How idiotic is it to use my victimhood to strengthen my argument rather
Right.
than the veracity of my argument?
There
We've
you
gone
go.
from an ethos of truth, reason,
Right.
logic, and
Right.
evidence-based thinking to an ethos of victimology. And
Yeah.
until we're able to redress that, we're going to keep sinking into the abyss of infinite lunacy."
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I think I might have to
Yeah.
go and listen to this guy.
Yeah. Well, he's a genius on this, and he's got a book coming out on this. I've already pre-ordered. He is a genius. I've been listening to him for 5 years or better, and he and Jordan Peterson are on the same page,
Oh
along
yeah,
with
man,
lots of other
that's
people who actually know their field, and instead of arguing from a position of science or
yeah,
fact, they
I
always argue from victimhood. You're right; it's a
yeah.
victimhood mentality. Yeah.
I don't know if I would be able to like for myself. This is my own personal assessment. If I compare myself to Jordan,
Yeah.
Mr. Jordan Peterson, I don't compare. I just think the
Oh, I
guy is
don't
so
either.
above me intellectually. He's just so
Yeah.
above me.
Right.
And I don't feel offended. I don't feel retarded. It's
Right.
just my admiration for the knowledge that they
Yeah.
carry. It,
Yeah.
it
Well.
doesn't make me feel stupid. It's just
Right.
very admiring because the
Yeah.
common sense of the arguments. How do I
Right.
put it in his words? I can't speak like he does. I'm not that
Well,
of an intellectual speaker like him.
right. I can't either, but I can listen to them and, like you say, admire their intellect and listen to them and understand what they're saying. Douglas Murray and Prager are the same. Of course, Prager's now, I don't know if he's actually broadcasting anymore since he got injured, but these people are absolute communications geniuses because they boil it all down to what Savage said back in the 2010s and teens, that liberalism is a mental disease. And it is, because now we've defined why. They're overly empathetic without any common sense or any real reasoning ability to deduce something
Yeah.
from A plus B equals C. They just can't do it.
And that's what I want. I really wish that somebody will call me in and have some. Again, I'm not that high, intellectual being here, but I want to have a conversation with somebody that's gonna, just activate my brain instead of just like cluttering it with this stupidity that makes no sense from them. Like, like for example, if I'm saying to you, let's say this is your show, and I called you a liar. Okay, number one, I didn't come in and say hi. You don't see me, you don't know me. I'm just behind this keyboard acting like I'm tough. If I just come in and I say liar, and you say, okay, Dennis, okay, you're a smart guy, tell me, what am I lying about? Well, I will say, well, you said the border is secure, but it's not, because now we have over 20 million illegal immigrants in the country.
Right.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I did lie. I thought that was secure. My bad. Give me something like that. The one thing that people can argue with me right now, it's this war in Iran, right?
Yeah.
If they want to say that this is a war, sure. I say it's Iran's war, and we're trying to stop them.
Yeah.
It's still a war. Let's say what it is. It's still a war, but I will say this: in 90 days, it has to be over. And that's why they're rushing to get everything done, and they are going to go through to do some things that for many people is the unthinkable. And I think that they got to do it. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you this, Mr. Bill, it's that Iranian people are asking for this.
Right.
The Iranians are saying, do it. And you have the Arabs. Other Arabs around in the Middle East are saying, President Trump, get it done.
Yeah.
They're not against them. They know. They know who they're talking about. If I tell you about illegal immigrants, please, I know thousands of illegal immigrants. I am a migrant. I know what it takes to be here. And my mother told me, if we don't have permission to be in this country, we'll never come.
Right.
And we didn't. I waited 5 years, Mr. Bill. 5 years I waited so that I can come here with my mother. So I don't want to hear excuses for people doing this illegally. My mother's sacrifice, I was so close to my mother. 5 years I separated that, that mama's boy, right? From my mother. 5 years separated. Well, she came over here and worked. She got permission to work, and then she became a resident. 5 years later, she comes for us. I have nothing to be ashamed of. And I will tell you this: if my mother would have never came to the United States of America, and I was in Honduras with her, even though we were poor, I was the happiest kid on the block. Let me tell you this, Mr. Bill. Before my father died, all my brothers, 16, 13, 10 years older than me, they had my father. They had the fortune. They had all the toys that they wanted.
Yeah.
By the time I was born, the last one thing that my father could give me was a tricycle when I was 2 years old. When my father died when I was 4 years old, nothing, no cars, no toys. The tricycle, obviously, I was too big for it now. It broke.
Yeah.
I had nothing. And I grabbed a piece of wood, and I would pretend that piece of wood was my car. And even though my friends had cars, plastic, metal, whatever, I was happy in the little piece of dirt that was our yard that my father bought. and I would make these little rows and I imitate Chips. Remember Chips?
Yeah.
Oh man, I
Oh,
love
really?
Chips. I love the police
Yeah.
in the bikes, and and I will look at the freeways from LA and I will pretend that I'm making those freeways on the road on the dirt, and I'm making like bridges to go under with a piece of wood, mind you. And then I never was jealous of some of the kids that had those toys.
Hmm.
I was a very happy kid because my mother was there.
Yeah.
When my mother left, that's another story.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I have been I have made over $1 million before in business.
Uh-huh.
I have been
Uh-huh.
middle class. I'm in the lower class right now, but we're still able to pay bills. You know what?
Mhm.
It's not about the monetary wealth that you acquire that makes you rich. It's about how happy you are with your family, with your wife and kids, and
It's
just having a
family. Yeah.
roof over your head.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand that, and they go and they blame the rich people for because they have this big mansion with like 3, 5, 10 acres of land. It's like, who
Uh-huh.
cares? What are you gonna do with
Right.
that?
Right.
What are you gonna do? Nothing. I just don't understand people trying to blame the rich people for their bad decisions, for their
Right.
bad judgment. Or I mean, we can go on and on.
Yeah.
People can say, well, President Trump, he's always been rich and he doesn't know what it's like to be, a lower, class citizen. Well, I am.
But
I've been
but he
middle. I've
knows.
been high. So what? What's the excuse
But
now?
but Trump knows how to relate to you. I have a question for you,
Yes,
Governor
sir.
Herrera. When you got to come to America, your goal was to become an
Go back home.
what's that?
I wanted to go back home.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
So you
I
didn't
was a
fall in
minor
love
though.
with America to begin with. What made you fall in love with America then?
I didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go back to my country.
Uh huh.
Um, by the time
But
that I was 18, I had made up my mind. It's all like emotional stuff. So I
right.
made up my mind, and I wanted to go to Honduras. I wanted to live there. That's it. This
Oh,
is it. I'm gonna get it done. I went there,
yeah.
but unfortunately, like any other stupid young man,
Right.
I wanted to be with this one girl that I have been in love for in eternity. Seems like.
Uh huh.
Well, that didn't work out. I didn't want to be there no more. And I
Yeah.
came back, and then I made a family here, and
Yes.
it was stupid. I should have stayed. And I if there's one thing that I regret in my life right now, it's that I didn't do better buying property and building my house in
Mhm.
Honduras the way that I wanted. That's the one thing that I regret not doing, and the one thing that I would love to change in my life. Everything else, sufferings and stuff like that, no, because it's made me the man that I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's it. But
you turned out to be a loyal American. So somewhere along the line, you found roots here.
yeah, my brother-in-law, he's the one that's married my older sister. He's a Marine,
Oh, okay.
but he is such a gentle soul and such a Christian man. I don't
Hmm.
think I will ever measure to the heels of this man.
Yeah.
Such a great family man, such a great American, and just because I can never measure to him as an American,
Yeah.
he has pushed me to love this country so much, has given me so much hope for it, that even after being a resident for 2.5 decades, I was
Yeah.
still thinking. I mean, till the day, I'm still thinking about moving to Honduras or
Oh,
even Samoa, right? Because that's where my wife is from. But
yeah. Okay.
but I love Washington State. Let me tell you something. I fall into this depression, horrible depression here in Washington, and it's not just in Washington. You can just anywhere. But
Right.
there's something when I don't know, where you can go up to the mountains and you feel the peace, and maybe you can shed a tear or two.
Yeah.
And it's the moment that you do that, it kind of heals you, like nature heals. Like God uses nature to heal sometimes. And
Uh-huh.
and sometimes I would just stare at the river, because it's so loud because of the waterfall on big rocks, and
Right.
it's just my brain just sits there and be like, forget about the world. look how beautiful this is, and I enjoy those things. So I Washington State has done so much for me, healing wise, spiritually, that I got sick and tired of the governors, specifically the
Yep.
Democratic governors,
Yeah.
just started pooping all over Washington. Farmers have been pushed out, businesses for the last 12 years. I mean, for that I can tell, even longer, last couple of decades or more, we've
Right.
seen farms disappearing, small businesses being thrown out, violence, crime, taxes up the yin yang. They don't even know how to raise more taxes. They make up excuses to raise taxes, and there's
Right.
no accountability on budgets or anything like that. And then so about 10 years ago, I said, you know what, I can't vote. I need to become an American citizen. If I love this state so much,
Yeah.
if I love this country so much, I need to be an American citizen so that I can vote. And
There you
and
go.
that's it. Here I am.
So you're saying that the retarded damn Democrats have screwed up your state, right?
They're doing a pretty damn good job. I tell you that right now.
Yeah,
But
they screw up everything they touch.
yeah,
And that's
I just don't. Because you know what, this is a very socialist state. But the problem with people is that they don't understand that socialism it's just one step away from being owned by communists. And
right.
and even right now on this No Kings rally, we
Right.
showed all these over 500 companies or about 500 companies that have been sponsoring communism, socialism, and Marxism. And
Yeah.
they got over $3 billion to throw into this, so they pay a lot of protesters to go out there. They
Yeah.
they want illegal immigrants to come in here, just pouring into the country. They don't want to have ID for voting. They say it rarely happens and nobody's going to do it. But we have people like Swalwell in California. He wants people to be able to vote by phone. Can you imagine the stupidity of these leftist guys?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
they're beyond. And I just don't see, for all the people that come in here and say, oh my God, but you support Trump. Okay. Well, see, like here, like if you're in my chat right now, okay, so XK says no proof, and then Eric says wrong. Oh my gosh, this is something that they themselves say, and it doesn't matter if I show the video, they will still deny it. It's just there's
Yeah.
no winning with these people.
There's no winning because they're mentally challenged. They're retarded, and it's because of their suicidal empathy. You've got to watch this Gadsden guy. He'll explain it so you really, really get. Oh, that's why that you can't discuss anything with them. Oh, that's why you can't ever enter into a debate because all they do is call you names.
Yeah,
They can't come back with a. Charlie Kirk's got all these videos on YouTube, and he's pretty sharp at it. I'm sorry that he's gone,
yeah, me
but
too.
he was excellent at just throwing the facts back at him, and they have no retort or any kind of argument to come back with. It's just their feelings, their suicidal empathy, and these
Yeah,
people like Swalwell and Governor Newsom and all the rest of these damn Democrats, they think that it's going to be like in the olden days, and they're going to be the landlords, and all the rest of us are going to be serfs. But they're bringing in communism, and what they don't recognize is as soon as the communists rule, look at New York City right
yep,
now.
yep.
As soon as the communists rule, they start stealing property. Do you know that in New York City, you can't sell your apartment today unless you offer it to the city first?
Well,
And
uh,
guess what kind of offer the city's going to give you? 50% of its real value, and you'll be forced to take it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
They're
communism.
like mafia people. You
Yeah,
know,
well, yeah, only worse. They're communists.
Yeah.
And communists are the worst kind of dictators.
Yeah.
And about 1% of the population, less than that in China, only about 2% of the population have all the wealth and all the power and all the big houses, and everybody else is poor. And they're poor on purpose. It's designed that way so that they can't revolt.
Yeah,
It's like it took, 600 years in Europe to overcome the king's rule, and everybody else had to live hand to mouth and a little plot of land. They were lucky they had one cow. And of course, they were so hungry and so desperate, they had no time to organize to overthrow the king. And that's the objective of communism. And if you look at every communist country, it is exactly like that.
Yeah.
It ends up that way.
Well, and I've given them examples with Cuba, with Venezuela, with China, with North Korea. And, like if you look at North Korea, the North Koreans actually looks pretty damn clean, at least from what I've seen. They're looking pretty good, but they're slaves. They are slaves to their dictator. Nobody votes in the representatives' house. Nobody votes against their tyrannical dictator.
Because you're dead and your family is sent to a concentration camp for life immediately.
Yep. He looks around. He even looks at people just to see if somebody's going to go against him so he can kill them. He even killed his own brother, for Pete's sakes.
Right.
That's crazy. Let me say it. So I said that Swalwell said that he would like people to vote by phone, right? And then people on the chat say, the lefters, of course, this is the retard people, they say that's a lie. Well, guess what? I like to watch videos. Here's Swalwell.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. Every Californian.
Hold on, I'm going to play the video. Hold on.
Oh, okay, great.
Vote by phone.
Representative Eric Swalwell is calling for Californians to be able to cast ballots with their smartphones. State law requires voters to cast ballots either in person or by mail, though Swalwell signaled he wants to modernize elections.
If we can do our taxes, do our make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone.
Besides
his logic is, if you can do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. Like, oh my God.
I'm in favor of that because all of us who have a few resources will buy 50 phones.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, we can do that. This is how we get the Democrats out, I guess, in a blue state.
But Swalwell couldn't think that might be the result because they can't think. They have no idea how to deduce anything from the facts that we know or project the consequences of the acts that they undertake. And that's how we get all these blue states and blue cities turning into third world locations. They're third world countries. And they just don't get that they're destroying civilization, even though they're bragging about saving it.
Oh my God, Mr. Bill. These people are really retarded. Oh my God. How can I stop saying it, guys? Stop acting retarded. He says, this guy says, yeah, 50 phones with one identity? Question mark. What? Question mark. Okay, do you not realize that people actually use other people's information? Yeah. Have you not heard of identity theft? Like these guys, I don't know where they live. They must live under a rock to really believe the government. Let me say this. Let's say, Bill, that they're telling us that Democrat politicians always tell us the truth and they never lie to us. Let's say that's true.
Okay, all right.
How about we release the voter rolls and we use ID with a birth certificate or a passport just to make sure? Can we do it just to make sure? No, they just fight us all the way. Now, listen, there is people in certain locations. I get it. You're gonna have to vote by mail, especially military, right? But everybody else that can go, why are you so lazy to go vote? If you don't want to vote, don't vote. But if you want to be lazy, and that's the reason why you can't go vote in person, let me tell you, we were out here in the cold, because it gets cold over here, especially once the sun goes down. We were in the cold, freezing our ass off, waiting for hours to be able to get inside the building so that I can give them the paper that I filled out, and I can show them my license, and I can show them my passport, and I can put my ballot in the box. What is the excuse for others?
It should be that hard to vote. because we only need motivated voters. And
Yeah.
the reason the Democrats want mail-in ballots everywhere or phone ballots is so it's easy to cheat.
Yeah.
And the reason they want to cheat is because the damn Democrats have been cheating for 160 years. That's
Yeah.
the only way they ever got any power.
Yeah.
So, they cheated in the South by making it impossible for black people to vote. They cheated in
Yeah.
the 2020 election by taking in ballots as much as 5 days after the close of the polls and counting every one. And they just, if they can't cheat, they won't win.
Yeah.
So they don't know another model. That's what they've been doing for 160 years.
Well,
There used to be a thing called Tammany Hall in New York. And they stayed in power for 20 years because they were good at cheating. So everybody admits that now, and there shouldn't be any argument about the fact that they've just carried forward. And so, yeah, I'm on your team. I'm going to begin calling the damn Democrats the retarded damn Democrats because they are. Okay?
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
All right. God
Yep.
bless you, my man. Governor Herrera.
Yes, sir. Well, God willing, if that's what he wants, we're going to do that. We got to wait until the 2028, May 2028, so that we can put our name in.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you
Yes,
something.
sir.
I heard you a few weeks ago say that if you got qualified for governor, then you'd have to drop your show. That's not true at all.
Okay. That's
All
fantastic.
you have to do is give all of your opponents equal time.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of
Okay.
course, they won't come to debate you because they can't debate. So all you have to do is offer. If you offer equal time, then you can continue your program.
Yeah, sounds good.
And you make it public, and you send letters out to all your opponents and say, I've got this program, and I've been on for 3 hours today promoting myself. Would you like to come on for 3 hours on Thursday?
Yeah.
And we'll make it equal time, and then there's no debate. But of course, they
Yeah.
won't take you up on it.
Yeah. Well, but the biggest thing that I had about the problem with it was because if I start campaigning and I start collecting funds, right? I'm gonna stop doing this, and I'm gonna be campaigning, so I don't have much time for doing this, and I will have to pay myself out of those donations. And if I pay myself out of those donations, they're gonna eat me alive over here, saying, "Oh, look at him. Okay, so he actually needs the money when other rich people are running." There's a whole can. We can talk about that the next time, Bill, since we have actually a few people trying to call in. But
Call me offline. I have a long history in broadcasting, so I know the rules.
all right, appreciate you.
God bless you.
God bless you
Good
as well.
talk to you tonight.
All right,
Bye-bye.
be good. All right, who's calling? Sorry, I couldn't answer the phone.
Hey, this is Chris.
Chris, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I'll turn it off here. Sorry.
It's okay. All right, Chris, what do you got for me?
I'm your opposition today, I think.
Sure, no problem.
I do not support the two-party system, so I'm going to ask that you do not call me a Democrat just because I don't support Donald Trump.
Sure.
So, perfect. Because I do consider being called a Democrat as an insult,
Okay.
and it should be an insult.
So-
I'm not a Democrat.
So you got to be careful with that one. So you have to be careful with that one. So let's say this is me, okay? Now I was a Democrat, okay? I'm still a Democrat. I'm a real Democrat, not like the ones we have today. This is the one thing you have to understand. If you support the policies, right, even though you're not officially a Democrat or Republican, if you support the policies that they stand for, you are part of that party while you support them. One of the ways that I look at it is like this. So if I run for governor, right, I'm not going to say, I'm a Democrat, screw Republicans. No. I'm going to say I am here in the middle, right? Country first, party second. If the Democrats sponsor me, then I'll be a Democrat because they will sponsor me, right? But I still have my policies. So if they like my policies and they support me, fantastic. If the Republicans do it, then I'll be on the Republican side. But I want you to understand that if you stand with the policies from Democrats, I will probably call you a Democrat, temporary Democrat. Is that fair to say? Temporary
I'd
Democrat.
be careful on that because I insult back, my friend.
Okay, well,
I
the whole
insult
thing
back,
is this.
so.
The whole thing is this. If you are supporting, you are letting them borrow your vote. So while they have your vote, you are part of that party. unless you don't vote or you don't support neither party. So if you don't support Democrats and you don't support Republicans and their policies at all, then I agree. You are independent. But if you're supporting Democrat policies, which it sounds like that's what you're going to tell me, then you will be called a Democrat. So if you can't handle that, then it's different.
Assumptions, which it makes you an ass, dude.
Well, I mean, you can say that, but you just said that. You said, I will consider that. So you made an assumption that I was going to call you a Democrat.
If I didn't vote for them,
I
and
get
I never
you.
voted for a single Democrat in my entire life.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. So let me get back. So you automatically said that if I call you a Democrat, which you're assuming that I will, you're making me feel like you're okay, but I'm not calling you that yet. So if I say that you are doing this, you say I'm assuming. Well, that's what you did. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? No, hold on. Did you hear what I said? You assumed that I would say something, so no problem. But when I assume,
You're going the direction. See, this is what happens when if I don't support your pedophile God King, all of a sudden I'm a Democrat, right?
Why would you assume that?
Why would I assume what?
Yeah, you're assuming. So why would you get mad at me for assuming the same thing that you're assuming of me? That makes no sense. So here's the thing. Don't come into a conversation. Okay, don't come into a conversation. Okay, listen. Who are you calling? Did you call me? Okay, but this is my show. This is my show. I want you to understand the rules. I have the rules. Okay, bye-bye. Don't listen. You don't listen. These are my rules. You understand? So I'm trying to explain something so that I don't go arguing with you. If you're telling me that you're going to be offended right away, you're going to cuss me out. Okay, so what? But we got to be able to have the conversation. Thanks for calling. Who's calling?
This is Chris again.
Okay, Chris. Bro, shut the hell up and listen. You got to listen. You got to listen. You don't listen. Number one, this is my show. I'm laying the rules down so we can have a conversation. You want to come in here acting like a little bitch that you're going to be offended if I call you a Democrat. Okay, that's a little bitch move. So if you already come in butt hurt, we're not going to have a conversation. With that being said, are you going to listen and are you going to follow the rules? You just called me an effing fag. You just insulted all homosexuals in the whole country. Yeah, okay, that's you. And nobody can hear you, by the way. You are everything you're calling me. And don't call, well, you're not going to call again because you're blocked from now on. So the guy is just saying effing, ussy, and fag, and all this other stuff. Well, we're not going to play that game. All right. Now, the other thing is, I don't answer block calls or unknown because just like this idiot right here doesn't want to listen. Listen, what would you do if I call you and I tell you, don't say this to me, don't say this to me because I'm going to be offended. And then when you try to explain to me how it works, why would I be even allowed to talk to you? You're going to do the same thing. No, I don't take block calls. That's just not the way it works. I don't mind you disagreeing with me. But let's be legit, okay? If you're a little bitch, don't call because you don't want to have a conversation. Number one, every single person that has called me here, not one of them has to tell me, oh, don't call me a Democrat because I'll be offended. If you're already a little bitch by getting offended, somebody calls you a Democrat, it is what it is. Don't get mad at me because I have rules. Vet for Democracy, he's blocked. He lost it. He lost his cool. Don't sit here and argue with the host. That's not how it works. Tell me, how much money have you paid me? How much money have you paid me? You can demand shit. You can't demand shit of me. Nothing. You can't demand anything. You can't demand anything. So if I am paying for that phone that you're calling, I would at least expect, let me give you the rules. Because if you don't accept the rules, then we don't talk, and you don't have to be on my chat. Like Eric, you're about to get booted. You're about to get booted. You told me before you don't support me. Why the hell are you on my chat? Vet, I really tried to have you on my show. That's it, bro. I'm not gonna get you out of jail, bro. You're permanently gone. You're lost. You're lost. Get the hell out of my channel. Eric is about to go next. So, there's nothing to do with the heat, Snug. It has nothing to do with no heat. There is no heat. If you say that you don't support me, fantastic. Then don't be here. If you don't support me at all, why would I want to talk to you? See, I support you because I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear your opinions. But if you don't want to listen, then get the hell out of my show. It's that simple. Number is still on the screen. Number is still on the screen. Just don't call with stupidity. I don't have patience for stupidity, man. Come on. If you're going to sit here and listen, you calling me names, calling me a fag and a pussy and all these other things, that's not going to do anything for you. Tell me, if I'm going to hang up on you, why would you even go there? Are you that retarded that it doesn't make sense to you? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Try to use some tact. I got dominated. Whatever, bro. Whatever. The leftist hating retards, of course they're going to say that. It is what it is. What's going on, Steve? Alan, listen, if you don't want to be here, I'll do you a solid. I will ban you from my channel. I can do that. Okay? And then I'll report you. Okay? And then I can do a report that you only come to my channel not to have a conversation, but to harass. And you're harassing also everybody else that supports me. So if you can't do that, then you can get the hell out. Hey, thanks for calling, bro. What's going on?
Dennis.
Yes, sir.
Bro.
¿Qué pasa,
Mufasa? You can't talk people into calling you when they're cowards, man. They're all barking, no bite.
Well, what do you think about that guy that I was trying to explain to him the problem?
You know, he's the symbolism of the party of love and tolerance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love hypocrites. So, actually, they're bigots, right? But, like, you got people in chat like Mud Butters, XK.
He's a loser.
All the fanboys from the other channels that do the same thing every day. They got nothing on their ass. They have nothing to say, nothing to.
They're just like being trolls. Yeah.
That's it. It's just trolling.
Well, the thing is, like, you know, I'm trying to give them a chance if they really want to have a conversation, okay? But you know, it's if they don't want to appreciate the fact that they have a place to come in and chat and have a conversation with others, it doesn't matter if you disagree with me. It's like, for example, look, like Eric doesn't call in. I talked to Eric one time, okay? And the one thing is, like, you know, I'm trying to explain the rules of how we're going to talk about it, and he said he don't care. I don't support you. I don't like you. And it's just like, okay, well, I definitely don't want to have you on my channel. What makes you think that that's going to give you favor to stuck with me? Like, so I know it's the autofocus. Don't worry about it. Here, let me see if I can take it off.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see if that stays. Okay. So it's just like, you know, I don't understand why people don't understand that part. Like, I'm trying to tell you what I expect. If you call me, because these guys don't even pay, bro. Like, they're not supporting me at all. So you don't put a super chat in there. And then two, you got the nerves to call me and tell me that you want to debate me and talk shit about me and tell me, well, at least I can respect that he can say it to my face, that he doesn't support me and doesn't care about my opinion. Tell me, what kind of conversation can we have with that?
Dennis, they still support you because they come to see you every day. They don't mind. They don't want to admit it, but that's what they're doing.
Well, they come in here and then they report my channel, and I have to go in and send a message to YouTube and be like, well, watch the channel. Watch the channel, and then you can see what happens.
This is why every time you give me a chance, I'm kicking them out because they do this every channel.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and what I want is I want people, the people that are members and subscribers, people that, that agree with me or are seeing the things that I see, to say something back to them with facts. So, and I see you guys doing it. I see you guys doing it.
I agree with you there, but there are certain people that needs to be perma-banned because they're the ones that's coming in agitating, and then the ones that do come in with the different opinions, I let those people through because I want them to have a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's important to have that conversation. You agree. This is your whole platform. You want to have that conversation. But the usual trolls, they're not here for conversation. They're just here to agitate.
Yeah, and that's not going to help anybody. It's I'm not here like the leftist people do, right? They always say, one progressive against Republicans, against MAGA. Yeah. It's like that. That right there tells me where your mind is. Your mind is already made up. There will be no conversation. It will be an argument, and I don't want that. I want somebody to like, oh hey, you know what? This is what I think about this. That's it. I want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I learned a lot. Being a Mike's channel, Dennis, I learned a lot because he was the second channel I was modding for when I first started moderating channels.
Yeah.
And over the years I've been with Mike, I've learned. I used to be all about, hey, everyone gets a voice, everyone gets a chance to conversate, and then I started seeing a pattern. The same people that don't conversate, same people that's always causing trouble, the same people that has all bark, no bite. It's the same people.
I know. I've seen Mike get rid of people. I'm like, damn, Mike doesn't even put up with shit that I put up with. Like, he is even more strict. But here's the thing, Jason, and this is something that these guys don't understand. Okay, I do this every day. I got to watch the news every single day. And I hear the negative and the positive, and I fight with myself, and I say, okay, that's okay. I can see why they will question this. I can see why they will have a negative. Sure, I had that negative. I had that. So I have all of these things. This is what gets to me, okay? And Eric, this guy Eric 08 in here. People like Eric that come in here, and one of the reasons why I always say put a super chat. Pay. You want to debate? Pay $100. Debate. Why do I say that? They think that I'm over here begging for money. No, mofo. My time is precious. My time is valuable. And I feel value in my time. I say this because I covered these things a lot of times. And just because somebody comes into my channel and they haven't heard me argue or they've been ignoring what I've been saying, they demand my time. As in they are the only people that matter. That out of all the people that come in here,
huh? They're not trying to have a conversation. They're just there to distract you from it. That's it.
Yeah, that's I see like here. So Eric, I don't need to debate you. I don't need to debate you because your ideas are leftist propaganda. That's not what I want to debate with. I want to debate somebody that has the same values that I do, that believes in the same policies that I do, and you just disagree with what's happening. And then I can say, okay, well, Trump, I think is going overboard. You can say that. I can say, I'm not gonna lie. It's sketchy. It's touch and go for a little bit. I get that. But at the end of the day, I have been saying the same things that President Trump and many other presidents have been saying. Iran's got to go. We got to put a stop to it. And we just keep saying, like George Bush, we're going to negotiate with terrorists. Not going to do it. We're just not going to. Well, that's talk. And he went into other wars crazy, gung-ho crazy. The difference is technology today is a lot better than it was 10 years ago. The whole Department of Defense, instead of Department of War, made it sound like we are some weak, soft country. You know how I have proof that the world was laughing at us and they saw us as weak? They were looking at us generals, male generals, wearing a skirt, being soft, touchy feelings. I'm a woman. What the hell kind of mentality do you expect from that general? Not a real man, doesn't know what courage is, and if he did at some point in his life, he's lost it. And they gotten so comfortable being the most powerful country in the world that they don't understand. Our military forces are not there for decorations. When they are called to action, they need to know what they're being called to. You know what? I was thinking about signing up for ICE. I mean, I know I'm almost 50 years old, but I was thinking about signing up for ICE. I don't think I can pass the test, you know. But the running, I ain't chasing nobody. I'll tell you that right now. But somebody's getting shocked. I don't know. Do you know what? I consider it, but that's it. Just consider it because I just don't have the patience. I just don't have the patience. These ICE agents have way too much patience. But again, you know, just going back into the military, I'm really serious about the military. These guys want me to convince them that the war is good. War is not good. War is never good. Is it necessary? Absolutely, 100%. Right now is necessary. We don't have to go to war with China. For what? We don't have to go to war with Russia. That's Ukraine-Russia thing. Israel is our friend. We got Israel's back, and they got our back. You know, we thought the UK was our friend, but they don't got our back. We thought France was our friend.
It's not that they're not our friend. It's that their government was overrun, and they have a bigger voice.
Yeah,
There's a lot of patriots in the UK that still stand for the US.
Yeah, well, but they give in to the weak. You know, they give in into the weakness, or they want to be able to have conversations. Career politicians, they are not business people. They haven't gone bankrupt. They haven't suffered in life. They haven't been spanked enough. Trump has. He's got his ass kicked so many times. He's been beaten by the system, and he's still successful. Go ahead.
It's the same as the world looking at us. Unless we had a democratic leadership, they thought we were weak, but we have strong patriots that are like, no, we're not this person.
Yeah, and you know what? And I understand that a lot of people don't want this war. I get it, and I'm going to tell you what I don't understand, Martin, Jason. It's, you know, if we get rid of Trump, it's not because he has the wrong policies in. They want to get rid of Trump because they don't like him. Period. That's it. Period.
He stands against the establishment.
He can be bought. And what is he doing? I'm going to give you this one more thing in here about Trump. And I agree with him. And I have seen the news and I've seen the coverage. And the Democrats like to forget about it. But he talked about the Russia collusion. They made fun of him. Oh, that's such BS and this and that. And you know what? He said that the Democrats politicize the FBI, the justice system. And they did. But they still said that he was crazy. They still said he was deranged. They still accused him and took him to court, thousands of times, wasting taxpayer dollars? And what they were afraid of what? They were afraid that he was saying the truth. Shifty Shift thought, I got this in the bag. 4 years, I heard. We got so much evidence. We are going to impeach him and we're going to put him in jail. I saw nothing. Nothing. Hearings were empty. False accusations with no facts. But today, my friend, today, let me see if I got a video for you to watch. Today, where are you? Maybe on my X account. Hold on. Let me see. It's on my X account. Today. Yes, it's on my X account. I'll play it once you get off. Today, I'm going to read the headline. 20 CIA and FBI agents have blown the whistle confirming that Barack Obama and his chief of staff, CIA director John Brennan, created the false Russia hoax, doctored intelligence to overthrow the duly elected president of the United States of America in 2016.
That was it. That was uncovered by Tulsi Gabbard.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the Democrats just put it under the rug. They don't talk about it, do they?
Yep.
CNN don't talk about it.
They also threw under the rug that the money that was sent to Ukraine was sent back to the Democrats, and that was exposed recently by intelligence as well.
Absolutely. But the Democrats say those are lies. And they even come in my show and say that's a lie. Let me read this superhero from MindSpeak. Why is Iran an Islamic country? Why? Who is to blame because of that? For me, it's two countries, the USA and England. They have a choice, my friend. Same thing happened on Germany before World War II. We triggered a man. Well, I mean, psychopaths are going to be psychopaths, and people are going to choose to do what they want to choose. Remember what Governor Bill here, future Governor Bill, said to us from God Saad. Here's the thing. He said, the argument. Now, this guy, I need to know where he's from, but I'm assuming he's an Arab because of his last name, right? Saad. Do you know where Professor God Saad is from?
I don't.
Yeah, he puts this statement out there, and he says, how idiotic is it to use my victimhood to strengthen my argument rather than the veracity of my argument? See, to use a victimhood, mentality to say, oh, well, we were hurt and we were oppressed, so we have to choose this religion. It doesn't make sense to me to blame anybody for that except for the people that want to accept that religion. I don't know where you're at with this England and the USA with Iran, with World War II, with Germany. But all I can tell you is Hitler was a racist, and it wasn't because somebody hurt his feelings in the U.S. or Russia or Paris or London or Italy or Spain. That was just an evil man. And you have Iran, which, by the way, even if they did practice Islam, right? Iran was a very free, westernized country like us. The problem was when Khamenei came in, the Ayatollah came in and took office in 1979. That's the problem. Everything drastically changed, and they chose Sharia law over the laws of the country. And that's how they've been ruling in Iran. So that's what I got myself. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
I don't. I would add to the super chat that was given is that Iranian Islam, because they took over the regime change over the Shah, that wasn't caused by America. They were against America's beliefs and Western beliefs. That's why they took over Iran. They didn't cause that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what comments bug me? When people try to be slick and they just I don't know, they just kind of hinting stuff. Like this guy Madden, people already know I'm in Everett, Washington. They know I'm Washington State, but they also say the number for this guy is in Everett. Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to search for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would somebody do that? Like, are you trying to dox somebody? Well, what is the point of looking up? Oh, you know what, Jason? Let me see that area code. Oh, okay. That area code looks like it's from this city and this state. I can tell you Washington State, Hawaii. I can tell you that. But I wouldn't even go deep into say, oh, you're in this little small town. Like, that's kind of creepy, bro.
Hey, people can try to find me all they want. There's over 200,000 of me. And
yeah.
I'm in Dallas, Texas. In Dallas, Texas alone, there's over 75,000 of me. So good luck.
Yeah, somebody searched my name here, and there's a lot of Dennis Herreras out there with all this. There's actually people, Dennis Herrera's here in Everett besides me, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy because Dennis Herrera, I mean, that's a Spanish last name with an English name. That's crazy. That's crazy. So anyway, so the people that call in, I wish that they would just call in and have a real conversation, but that's not what they want. I'm not gonna sit here and just like I can't understand people. Like if you just sit there yelling and cussing at me when I'm trying to tell you if I'm in your house, Jason, you have the right of way. You get to set your rules in your house, and I'm gonna respect them.
Yeah.
And if I talk with you and I disagree, I will walk away. But I'm not gonna sit there and insult you because you don't agree with my comments. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Those are my favorite. The ones that call in and want you or demand you to tell them something. It's like, this is my show. I don't have to tell you nothing.
Exactly. It's like I that's you know that, and the thing is like I think that I'm being nice enough to try to answer some of the questions that they just keep spamming on the chat, but they don't even appreciate that. So. All right, let me see if I can take another phone call here, and if I need to put you back as admin, I will put you in there, brother. Thanks.
All right.
All right, thanks for calling. Who's calling? Yes, who's this? You're breaking up.
You're live right now?
Yeah, you're live.
Okay. I was just talking about Madden.
Oh, Madden. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what's up with that? That sounded kind of creepy. Just so you know, people have threatened my life and my family on this show, and they have put a bunch of addresses from Everett before, threatening my life. So that's why I made that comment. That's a little bit creepy that people are, looking at the city, even though I say it all the time anyway. But still.
Oh.
So if you're not doing that, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah, I know.
All right. What question do you have?
So am I live right now?
Yeah, you're live.
Okay. So basically, how did you get to like supporting like the U.S. government right now?
The what?
Supporting the U.S. government right now.
Well, I mean, I support the United States, not the government. The United States. If I'm going to run for government, it's because that's the only way that you can make real changes. Here in Washington State, we have laws and constitutional laws that if there is a tax increase, it has to be the people that vote to approve that tax. And because they want to increase the tax, they just bypass it. They don't allow us to vote for it, and they just put it on the floor, and they break our constitution. They break our rights, and they know what they're doing, and they are abusing the budget. They have a lot of things that doesn't even help us. As people here in Washington, they've been putting such a burden on businesses that they're leaving us at a higher rate than they actually normally would because of crime. So I have a problem with that, but I mean, it's not like I tell you this. I love Trump because of where he come from, all the things that he had to was put through. I know what it feels like to be falsely accused. I know that as a Christian, I believe in having mercy and forgiveness, but I also believe in exhorting and rebuking and correcting when correcting needs to be done.
By the way.
Say that?
I'm also Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I'm in Illinois, so it's different. But not really. But I'm just so annoyed with what's going on with all this.
I think he has weak reception. I don't know. Lost him there. You can call back if you want. Yeah, I want people to, I don't know, man. If people don't want to fight for this country, they don't want to fight for this country. I get it. I get it. Marvin Bernal. Give me a call. Just don't block your number. Give me a call. And if you hang up on me, I mean, if you call to just curse me out, you're going to be blocked and you'll never be able to call. But I don't think you've ever called before. Yeah, you can call back again, Madden. It's fine. Unless somebody else calls in before you call in. Let's get into our next clip.
Oh, know it was a massive TikTok moment that's over. The American life of luxury, over. Immigration Customs and Enforcement has arrested the niece and grandniece of an Iranian general the U.S. just killed during President Trump's first term. ICE busted them shortly after the Secretary of State Marco Rubio revoked their green cards. The pair had posted praise for Iran's regime and celebrations of attacks on the U.S. At the same time, they were living a very high lifestyle in L.A. Senior foreign policy correspondent Jillian Turner has more from the State Department. Jillian.
Good morning to you, Harris. These relatives of Qasem Soleimani did more than just praise Iran's regime and enemy of the United States on social media. These women publicly supported the IRGC, that's Iran's military, that's designated a foreign terrorist organization here in the United States. The Trump administration says that amounts to material support in this case. So take a look at these women. The niece and the grandniece of Qasem Soleimani, they are in ICE custody now, pending removal from the U.S. The Secretary of State says the move came after he terminated their legal status in the country last week, posting on X. Until recently, Hamideh Soleimani Afshar and her daughter were green card holders living lavishly in the U.S. She celebrated attacks on Americans and referred to our country as the, quote, Great Satan. President Trump often touts the operation he had authorized in his first term to take out Qasem Soleimani, a notorious killer responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people. He counts it among his greatest counterterrorism achievements to this very day. Take a listen to the president a moment ago.
We killed Soleimani. Without Soleimani, if they had Soleimani, it would be a whole different thing. Maybe. Would still be winning, but it would have been harder because we are obliterating that country.
Well, Soleimani's niece entered the U.S. on a tourist visa in 2015, eventually secured asylum, then obtained a green card. Despite frequent trips home back to Iran, she sought relentlessly during her time here to become an influencer on social media. Her daughter came to the U.S. that same year on a student visa and essentially never left. She, too, spent much of her time promoting herself and her American lifestyle on social media platforms. Harris, the hypocrisy here, I mean, barely warrants a mention. It is self-evident. If these women were back home living under the rule of the regime they say they love, they would not be allowed to post on social media. They would not be allowed to go out in public alone or even take selfies. They would not be allowed to attend college or school. They would be living under Sharia law. It would be a very different situation. Harris?
Jillian Turner, thank you very much. Former Department of Homeland Security advisor and former Secret Service agent Charles Marino is with me now. Charles, a lot of people have been asking, how in the world did they stay here? That nobody ever said anything after, their relative being annihilated in Trump's first term. We know that he was an enemy. The military took him out.
Well, it's the right question to be asking right now, especially since it appears that as a country, we still haven't learned the lessons of September 11th, 2001, where shortly after those attacks, the Saudi government requested that the FBI assist in relocating over 24 members of the bin Laden family after that attack. We knew he was leading al-Qaeda. We knew he was an adversary of the United States, and yet we had 24 of his family members here in the United States. And this is the same situation. I think the American people would be shocked to learn how many people we have allowed into the country, either through claims of asylum or on student visas or tourist visas, that are associated with adversarial countries, including the leaders of those countries. This needs to stop. We have got to understand that countries like China, for example, who continue to exploit American universities for the theft of intellectual property and destruction of scientific data, etc., continue to flood and exploit the immigration policies of the United States. And I don't think the American people should have to learn another tough lesson through another act of terrorism to understand that our policies are backwards right now. And some of our elected leaders continue to bury their heads in the sand and live in this augmented reality that just doesn't match what's going on the ground.
Look, having worked at DHS as an advisor, I mean, you know the details of what it can cost us, not just with 9/11, but just overall. It sows the seeds with other enemies, like, well, maybe we can go to America after hating them and threatening to kill Americans and become an influencer. A new editorial with this headline: California should thank ICE for arresting Iranian terror generals' high-living relatives. And here's part of that. It is unusual for the families of America's sworn enemies to support the bad guys so openly while enjoying the California sunshine. Soleimani's relatives must have thought they were immune. After all, they lived in a sanctuary state. But as Rubio noted, Secretary of State, a green card is a privilege, not a right. And you cannot support America's enemies and expect to stay in the country. Charles.
Well, and I don't think the administration is holding their breath, waiting for a big thank you from Gavin Newsom, just like they wouldn't get one from Tim Walz or Governor Hochul in New York City. These sanctuary jurisdictions are actually more likely to take the side of those that have been deported, no matter their association or the reason why they were here in the country. So, look, we are one of the most lax countries in the world when it comes to our border and immigration policies. And we saw that to an extreme under the Biden administration. And now the Trump administration has a great deal of catching up to do through Marco Rubio at the State Department in terms of vetting. Vetting that wasn't done.
Charles, I need to pull away. Please forgive me.
Was done.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
She needed to pull away. So one of the things is, yes, we need to make sure that we have, if you get a lot of time from me for you to talk, that means that I really like what you're teaching me. I don't have time for nonsense. But here's a perfect example of the people that are just so easy to control that they don't see anything wrong with the clip that you just saw. You don't see anything wrong with the niece and the grandniece of these terrorist leaders in their country. You don't see anything wrong with them. They're still cursing the United States of America on a visa, by the way, or a green card. They're over here hating your country. I'm assuming you're a legal or a resident green card holder or an American citizen. I'm talking to American citizens here. They don't care about your country. They use their money to lavish in all these pleasures and vanity, but they don't care about your country. The ones that do care about this country, you're looking at one of them here. And for some reason, you don't appreciate that. But I will have to probably come to a conclusion that you're not really Americans and that you're just hateful people from other countries, because I'm going to refuse to believe that Americans can really hate this country. Marvin, I don't know what's going on over there, bro. I mean, obviously we know, but I don't know what's going on to the point of why are they're just so blind to not accept the truth. You know what I'm saying? All right, before I get to my next clip, I want to share this clip from, as a matter of fact, here's the quote. Let me give you the quote from President Nayib Bukele. Here is the quote. This is probably too long. Let me see. Oh, there you go. All right, that's Nayib Bukele's quote. Okay? And here is the clip.
Right? And what about the human right of a woman not to be raped? I mean, what about the human right of kids to play or to be free or to go to the park? And what about the human right to live, or the human right to walk in the street, right? But no, they were worried about the human rights of the killers. What about the human right of a woman?
Yeah, and that's what we're saying. That's exactly the mentality that the leftists, the socialist Democrats have right now. You have to see it for what it is. It has nothing to do with me hating the Democrats because I'll be hating myself. Nothing to do with hating that. That's why I always say, if you come in here hating Trump, there's no reason for us to talk. Okay? No reason. Why? Because you're not here to talk about politics. When you mention that Trump, you already have no argument. All right. Let's see. And here is what I was sharing with Martin, with Jason Martin. Here's a clip.
Good morning, or good afternoon, everyone. I recently confirmed that on numerous occasions, the intelligence community incidentally collected information about U.S. citizens involved in the Trump transition. Details about U.S. persons associated with the incoming administration, details with little or no apparent foreign intelligence value, were widely disseminated in intelligence community reporting. Third, I have confirmed that additional names of Trump transition team members were unmasked. And fourth and finally, I want to be clear, none of this surveillance was related to Russia or the investigation of Russian activities or of the Trump team. The House Intelligence Committee will thoroughly investigate surveillance and its subsequent dissemination to determine a few things here that I want to read off. Who was aware of it, why it was not disclosed to Congress, who requested and authorized the additional unmasking, whether anyone directed the intelligence community to focus on Trump associates, and whether any laws, regulations, or procedures were violated. I've asked the directors of FBI, NSA, and CIA to expeditiously comply with my March 15th letter that you all received a couple weeks ago, and to provide a full account of these surveillance activities. I informed Speaker Ryan this morning of this new information, and I will be going to the White House this afternoon to share what I know with the President and his team. Before I get to questions, I want to say that, as you know, there's just been what appears to be a terrorist attack in the United Kingdom. Obviously very concerned, and our thoughts and prayers go out to our strong friends and allies over across the pond. I have seen intelligence reports that clearly show that the President-elect and his team were, I guess, at least monitored and disseminated out in intelligence, and what appears to be raw, or I should say raw, intelligence.
Cutting edge, what's going on, big bro? Remember, Dennis, Elon Musk put that update in the app of X because of all the fake accounts in the world, and in the process making everyone put the real locations. That is crazy. Don't know. Don't know. So the governor here in Washington State just tried to pass. Now, he signed it already into law, but he tried to pass this income state tax on the rich people making $1 million or more, okay? And he still blames Trump's tariffs. Trump's tariffs disappoint as promises falter a year later after Liberation Day. These guys have nothing that is helping Washingtonians. Nothing at all. We lost 100,000 plus jobs in Washington State last year, including the beginning of this year. And you're going to tell me that we're not going to pay attention to that? That's crazy. You got to pay attention to that. I love this state so much. I want to be here, and I want to fight for it. Here is a little nice, peaceful protest from the loving Islam boys in France. because all of this helps the economy, right? Rioting, burning cars, destroying buildings, businesses, the nice little cover for the bus waiting stop. Like what are we doing? You're causing more damage, which is going to break the economy even more, destroying the budget of the city. And this is the loving people that they want us to let be. Free protest, just peacefully protesting, nothing to see. They've been watching too many damn movies. That's what I think it is. So the same people that bitch about this war against terrorists are the same people that are actually worrying. Well, actually, no. They worry about the war against terrorists, and yet they come in and they do war against us in our country. That just doesn't fly. It just doesn't fly. The Edwin that I know is deported, and he's in Mexico. No, actually, he's in Guatemala. Where's the other one? No, that was it. Clara reposted your post, blah, blah, blah. What's going on in the Trump room? Oh. The special hello from space. All right. I didn't think I was going to have to do it. I didn't think I was going to have to do it, but thanks for stopping by. Listen, if you don't understand what is happening, the same people that have infiltrated our country have infiltrated other countries. Those countries who are closest to them are being destroyed publicly. We are about to start seeing that more and more. With that being said, that's why we mentioned other countries going through what they have to go through. Do I tell them to change their country? No, they can do whatever the hell they want. That's their country. I don't care. But if it's happening here in my country, then I have to care. Okay? Here's DeSantis on the anti-Sharia law. And the reason why we have to talk about it is because if we don't, it will happen. They are already fighting to put this through, and we just don't want that to happen.
For our security, and I want to thank everybody that's been involved in that. We are joined today by folks who had a hand in this, the Lieutenant Governor from Tampa, Jay Collins. We also have our incoming Florida Senate President from down in Bradenton, Jim Boyd, who's a friend of mine. Representative Jeff Holcomb is here. And then Riley Siebel, who is here at University of South Florida and will be speaking later today. So I don't think I have to let anybody know that we have some problems in this country, more than we should, with international terrorism. You just had this incident at Old Dominion University. Guy commits a terrorist attack. He's shouting Allahu Akbar. The media acts like they don't know the motive of that when he's doing it, but he had been somebody that had already been convicted of material support to terrorism. He was a citizen, but he was a naturalized citizen. And a lot of us are looking about that. It's like, okay, wait a minute. You come to this country You get natural. You probably shouldn't have been allowed in this country to begin with. You shouldn't have even qualified for naturalization, but somehow that happens. Then you get convicted for material support to terrorism. You should be denaturalized and sent back to where you came from. Why are we tolerating this type of stuff in this country? And so much of it is self-inflicted. Look back at 9/11. That was an immigration problem. These are people that were coming over and their visas expired or they had all this. This wasn't like they showed up subterranean, on the shore and they started doing this. They were open and notorious about doing this. And we see this all around the country. And a lot of it is just, I think, not doing what's right to protect the people. Some of it's political correctness. I don't really know what all goes into it, but we've been very strong in Florida from the beginning on all of this nonsense and doing whatever we can to keep the people of this state safe. And one of the things that the legislature did was you see different things. 9/11 obviously was, a massive terrorist attack, but you also see it with somebody going in with a suicide vest. You see it, somebody going in and shooting people, doing the chants. That is kind of the formal, explicit jihad actions that we see that happens in the United States, when honestly it should never happen, because you shouldn't have people in this country who hate this country, and that's a big problem with immigration for many, many decades in this country. But you see that, and you see it around the world. But then you also have a more stealth version of jihad, and that is what we see in Europe, quite frankly. Massive migration of people into these Western European countries. They don't want to be like Western Europeans. They want to take their worldview and impose that in other lands. And part of that is, of course, the imposition of Sharia, but it also goes through a whole bunch of other things. And so you have to look at this very holistically, and that's something that I've did. I mean, you remember earlier this year, last year, we were strong in designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization, designating the Council of American Islamic Relations as a foreign terrorist organization. And in fact, CARE was an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terror financing trial in American history, the Holy Land Foundation. So you see that, and okay, is that something that we want to be a part of? I mean, if there's a school that is allied with CARE, should you have any of your money going to things like that? I think not. And so part of what the legislature did in this bill was provide a statutory structure for the actions that we took earlier when we took those actions last year. It provided a process where we could identify groups that are foreign terrorist organizations, and the federal government does this all the time, and part of it is commander-in-chief. There's different things the president does, but we need to be doing that here. There was an episode in the late 1790s involving France and American diplomats, and they were having some problems, and they wanted to go negotiate, and the French were demanding money just to be able to negotiate. It was called the XYZ affair. Well, one of the and John Marshall, who later became Chief Justice, was the one that was leading the negotiations. And the Americans just walked away. They're like, we ain't paying for that. So they come back, and one of the congressmen at the time, did a toast, and he said, in the U.S., millions for defense, but not 1 cent for tribute. And I think about what we're doing here. We'll do millions for public safety, millions for education, but never 1 red cent for jihad. So the legislation we'll sign today is the strongest action Florida has ever taken to protect its people from this influence, and obviously it spans finance, it spans political, it spans culture, and then of course it can be overt acts like we've seen in Old Dominion and other places around the country. I'm proud to be able to sign the bill today. I think it's something that we asked for. many months ago, and I know there were a lot of folks in the legislature who were very strong in wanting to deliver something really meaningful. So this will help the state of Florida protect you. It'll help us protect your tax dollars. It'll help us protect things that should not be happening in the United States of America, but certainly shouldn't be happening in the free state of Florida. So this is going to be a big deal. We're going to have a lot of folks, I think, that are going to be appreciative. They'll sue us like they do on everything, and we'll win on appeal. Probably not in the district because they know which judge to go to, and we always lose. But we almost always win on appeal, and I think that'll end up happening with what we're doing here. Now, there's some other things that were part of this package that we may need to add in upcoming, because I think there were some things that really need. I mean, for example, Florida doesn't ban cousin marriage, and that's a hanging curveball for us to do. We need to do that. Other states have done it. I don't know why we wouldn't, but obviously that feeds in to some of the stealth jihad that we see, when you're allowing things like that. It's things that are coming in from other cultures that are not consistent with the United States culture, and certainly our culture here in Florida. So this is important, but the larger issue is we have got to stop as a country importing people that reject the values of this country. And that's just been going on for a long time. Why should we be having to referee some of the stuff that ends up happening when you should? I mean, you have Soleimani's niece here, and they just revoked her visa or whatever they did, which I support that. But I'm like, how did it get to where she was even here to begin with? What is about our laws or the administrative bureaucracy over a period of, I think, 4 or 5 years where you're coming in, you're getting this visa, getting this green, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, that is not what we need to be doing to protect the American people. And there's just this view that somehow someone just shows up and they just have a right to be in this country. You don't have a right as a foreigner to be here. And if you're somebody that's coming, is that going to benefit the American people or not? And if it's not going to benefit the American people, then why are we even having this conversation? Everything we need to do is about supporting the people that we were elected to serve. And we're doing that in this bill. I know more needs to be done throughout the country, but I think we do have momentum on our side, and we're going to keep going forward. So thanks for the folks that were involved in this and the legislature. There was a lot of citizens that were very instrumental in making sure that we did something robust this legislative session. And I know there's a lot of things out there that people want to see, and sometimes you got folks that listen to you, and sometimes they just don't want to hear it. And on this one, I think that the voices were very loud, and I don't think there was any way that they were going to be able to not deliver and deliver big. So thanks for everyone that's been involved. All right, we're going to hear from some speakers, and then I am going to sign the bill, and we'll make it official. So we'll start with our Lieutenant Governor, Jay Collins.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis. I appreciate it. It's good to be here today. Great to see so many friendly faces. I want to thank my wife, Layla, for being here today. Love you, hon. And go Bulls. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today not only as your Lieutenant Governor, but as a retired Green Beret, a warrior who spent years in the global war on terror. But most importantly, I'm here today as a dad and a husband. Having fought in the dust of Afghanistan and Iraq, like many, we buried friends, brothers there. Their lives dedicated to stopping a nightmare from infecting our shore and our way of life. My mission has never changed. I will always be a warrior. We will always protect and preserve our institutions, our beliefs, our values, every single day. I will not allow it to take 1 inch of ground here in the free state of Florida, and thank God we have leaders with courage, willingness to stand and fight for the things that matter. Friends, there is nowhere else to go. We are the free state of Florida because we do hard things. And in these United States of America, we have just one set of laws, one Constitution. No other law should be recognized or supersede our laws or be allowed to conflict with our Constitution. No foreign or religious legal codes should sneak into our courts, no taxpayer dollars propping up extremism or shadow jihad. Thankfully, HB 1471, Florida has drawn a bold line in the sand. No faded pastels, nothing like that here. I want to thank the legislature for your hard work on this. This is meaningful. It makes a difference for our people. And as always, I want to personally thank our governor, Ron DeSantis, for what he's done, his courage, his conviction. Now, let's just talk a little bit about a couple of those provisions that the governor mentioned. Let's talk about Sharia law. It is not some personal spiritual guide. Simply put, it is not consistent with our values or the values of our Constitution. Rather, it is a complete legal and political code drawn straight from the Quran and the words of Muhammad himself. Those are primary facts from primary sources. Under Sharia law, let us not forget that in Iran, they arrest, torture, and kill women for loose hijab. 1/5 of marriages in Iran are minors because of Sharia law. In Afghanistan, the Taliban banned women from school and silenced voices in public. I have personally seen women murdered for wanting an education and so much more. There will be no honor killings, no padding of the law. In reality, murder is murder, and in Florida, we understand that. Today, Florida says no, not now, not ever, in the free state of Florida. HB 1471 removes the possibility before it ever touches our children. It also creates a state terrorist designation process with real teeth. FDLE's chair of domestic security can flag domestic or foreign terrorist organizations. And in Florida, we have it very simply put. We will designate, defund, and dissolve people who don't stand for our values. Material support, now a felony. To give money, guns, or military training to those savages, it's a felony. Join them with intent to spill blood, also a felony. We don't play games. We will hold you accountable because that is what we have done in the free state of Florida. The education system also got a little cleanup, and it's good to see that. Private voucher schools cannot affiliate students who promote them, meaning support extra-legal violence, can get expelled, lose in-state tuition, scholarships, and fee waivers. Public universities can't spend a dime promoting terrorism or jihad. That is exactly how it should be. Now, to bring this thing in for a landing, to the ACLU, Equality Florida, CARE, and others who scream overreach because this law cuts off taxpayer cash, to groups aligned with ideologies that are not commensurate or consistent with our Constitution and way of life, I hope you never have to hear the screams of children, women, or the innocent. We will stand for our principles that you want to blemish and ignore. But don't fall for the rhetoric and insert political games in this state. HB 1471 is not about politics. It's about keeping our people safe, Florida safe, preserving American values, keeping our laws American, and keeping our children from all walks of life out of the crosshairs of extremism. If you support groups that want to replace our Constitution with barbaric law, Florida has a message. I have a message. We see you, we will designate you, and we will destroy your ability to operate here, period. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the free state of Florida.
Hard to follow those two, but I'll attempt. The governor and the lieutenant governor have basically spelled out what this good bill does. On behalf of Senator Grahl and Representative Cassell, the Representative Holcomb and I are here today to support them in their good work on this bill. Just simply said, Florida will protect, and your elected officials who, one of our most basic and fundamental duties is to protect our citizens. We will do that. We will protect the Constitution. As has been said, we will not spend taxpayer dollars on some of these fringe organizations that are here to hurt and to kill our citizens. So know that your Florida legislature stands with the governor and the lieutenant governor in fighting for what's right. We will continue this fight We will win. We are winning, and we will continue to win. Thank you for being here. Governor, thank you so much for your leadership.
Good morning. My name is Riley Seibel, and I'm a senior at the University of South Florida. I'd first like to thank Governor Ron DeSantis for the opportunity to speak today, as well as the Florida legislature for presenting the bill being signed. In April 2024, my campus experienced something that many of us will never forget. What began as a peaceful protest in support of Palestine quickly shifted into something far more concerning. Just a few weeks before the protest, I had been on a campus tour, walking in the same areas, admiring the beauty of USF. So when I found myself watching the events unfold on the news, I was in complete shock. Around 100 students and community members gathered outside the Student Center, many exercising their right to free speech in a respectful and lawful way. However, as the situation developed, it became clear that everyone present did not share that same intention. Reports indicated that some individuals were planning to use items as weapons against law enforcement officers who were there to maintain safety and order. Even more alarming, one individual was found carrying a firearm tucked into their waistband. In that moment, what should have remained a peaceful demonstration became a situation that threatened the safety of students, faculty, and law enforcement. 10 individuals were arrested, and the campus community was left shaken. For many of us, it was a stark reminder that while free speech is a fundamental right, it must be exercised responsibly and without violence. That experience is exactly why today's bill is so important. It brings a sense of reassurance to students like myself, knowing that there are clear boundaries in place to protect us from organizations that promote violence, intimidation, or terror. College campuses should be a place of learning, growth, and open dialogue, not environments where students feel unsafe or threatened. Knowing that domestic terrorist organizations and groups with violent intent will not be tolerated on our campus brings a level of calm and security that cannot be overstated. When we look beyond our campuses to broader concerns, including dangerous organizations like MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, it becomes more clear how critical it is to take a firm stance early. Prevention matters, drawing lines matter, and protecting students' lives matter. At the same time, it is equally important to recognize that universities should be spaces where a wide range of perspectives can be shared. That is something I have personally experienced with my involvement with Turning Point USA. I've been a member for a little over a year, and during my time, I've seen firsthand how respectful, organized, and lawful engagement can be very impactful. When we hosted Charlie Kirk back in February 2025, it served as a strong example of how student organizations, regardless of a political affiliation, should operate. The event was structured, secured, and allowed for the exchange of ideas without crossing lines into chaos or harm. This is the standard we should strive for. We absolutely need opposing viewpoints on campus. We need conversations, debates, and even disagreements. But the moment an organization violates the student code of conduct, promotes violence, or crosses into supporting domestic terrorism, that's where the line must be drawn. There must be accountability. As a student, I am incredibly grateful to live in the state of Florida, a state that prioritizes both freedom and safety. I'm proud to be a Bull at the University of South Florida, a school that works in cooperation with the state leadership to assure that students are protected and that campus organizations are held at a high standard. It is reassuring to know that our state government is not turning a blind eye to these issues, but instead is taking proactive steps to address them. That kind of leadership makes a difference in everyday lives of students like myself. In closing, today's bill represents more than just a policy. It represents a commitment to student safety, a commitment to responsible freedom, and a commitment to assuring that our campuses remain places where ideas can be shared without fear. My experience at USF shows me how quickly things can escalate when that balance is lost. But today, standing here, I am hopeful. Hopeful that with measures like this in place, we can protect both our rights and safety moving forward. Thank you again, Governor DeSantis, and everyone involved for making this possible. It was an honor to be here today.
We're going to stay up here. We're going to sign the All right. Today, I believe, is the 6th. Is that correct, of April?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who wants one? Send one to her. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Sir. Anyone in the peanut gallery want one? All right, here we go. Well, that'll be meaningful, and I know that FDLE, they're going to be working already on formulating the folks that we are going to designate. You know, I had mentioned the Brotherhood and CARE, but you also have Antifa that needs to be taken care of. You've got Tren de Aragua. We got a lot of things that we've got to get right on here. So this bill gives us the framework to do it, and expect us to be very zealous and robust in how we approach dealing with these groups, particularly when it comes to protecting public safety and protecting your tax dollars from going to any of these institutions. So, okay, do we have any questions in the back?
Yeah, Governor, we're 2 weeks away from the scheduled special session on congressional redistricting. You have said that's not to be done for partisan reasons, but because you'll be forced to, because the U.S. Supreme Court will weigh in on the Voting Rights Act.
Among other reasons. I mean, what I've said is Florida has experienced 10 years worth of population growth in like 3. And so if you look, our districts are not fairly apportioned because of that. Now, it wasn't the fault of the people that did the maps, and you still got to use the baseline 2020 data, but I think when you're looking at that, how do you make that work? I think that's something that's totally appropriate. I also think we know how that Supreme Court case is going to come out at this point. I don't think there's much of a dispute about that, and I think Justice Alito's writing the opinion. So us looking at our map, understanding the issues in that case, and fixing it, I think that's appropriate. Whether the decision comes before we do it or after, and it'll obviously come sometime between now and the end of June. Normally, cases in October would come down sometime in the spring, but this is a case where you're probably going to have dissents or whatnot. But I'm very confident if there's a map that is consistent with what that opinion will eventually say, that's going to be a map that is going to be upheld going forward. So there's a variety of reasons to be able to do it. As you know, Florida has rules about how the legislature is able to draw. You can't do what they did in California. You have to do it. Our map now is very, very nicely drawn. Now, I didn't do it, but the guys that did it, they did a great job. And you know, the people that try to say this or that about it are not being honest, because it is what it is. So that'll get done. I know they got to do the budget. I know Jim's here. Maybe I'll talk with him about where that stands afterwards, and maybe some other things too. As you know, we're working on well, we're not really. We know property tax needs to get done, so we're working to kind of get with the key people to get that off and running on the ballot, and people it's going to be a lot of excitement for people to be able to vote to protect their homestead from tax. I think that's something that we can do in Florida. A lot of people don't realize that property tax doesn't go to the state at all. That's not how it's all local. And in 2019, my first year as governor, local governments were taking in about $32 billion in property tax revenue for all these different things. Today it's $60 billion. And the question is, you know, we've had population growth, we've had inflation, obviously. I mean, we've had to put money back in the kitty to fund projects we thought were fully funded years ago. I remember those days. And, and even throwing in some increases here or there, fine. You are not even close to needing $60 billion. And so do you want to keep on that trajectory where the projection is, starting with 2019, they were at $32 billion. By 2031 or 32, it's going to be $84 billion. I mean, really, that's almost a tripling of property tax in a 10 to 15-year period. I think we can do, and people say, oh, well, you can't do property tax. You're not going to have any money. Did we not have public safety or schools and all this in 2019 when they were getting $32 billion? Of course you did. Of course you did. And so you'll be able to do. But I think that a lot of people have been pinched by this, but I don't think people appreciate just how much more these governments are taking in. And here's the thing. Our proposal, yeah, you want to tax someone that's got 10 Airbnbs, fine. You're going to tax someone, you know, some guy from Brazil that buys a house in Coconut Grove, man, tax, fine. But our residents that have that homestead property, we think that needs to be sacrosanct. So that's going to be a huge thing. But I don't think you'll find a better state to be in from a taxpayer's perspective if we get that done.
Governor, just given that the First Amendment already blocks Sharia law or any other religious law from becoming law in the United States, what is the particular concern here? How much of a danger is it really that Sharia law would ever become a part of America?
Well, is there a danger in the, I mean, you know, is Jim Boyd going to become Senate president and try to institute Sharia on Florida? Obviously not, right? I mean, but I think what you see is you see this creep into different institutions. Like, look what's happened in Europe. Like Britain, it is not, they're not being governed over like through parliament and by Sharia, but you have no-go zones there. They have communities where they apply Sharia in the community. And so that's different than having a legislature enact it. Now, I think demographically, I think the goal of a lot of these groups in Europe is to eventually get to where they have sufficient numbers that they can impose it through the political process. And at that point, and that's the thing. I mean, I remember when I was in Iraq, we were supposed to, you know, have a democracy and freedom in Iraq. And the thing is, you talk to these people on the ground, these were Sunni Arabs. Their view of freedom was Sharia. That's what they viewed freedom was. And so it's a totally different concept. But what I see happening in Europe, I see a migration not to assimilate, but to displace the current cultures that are there. And so we obviously are not going to allow that to happen here in the state of Florida. But the bill also does a lot of other things involving institutions or group that are linked to any terrorist organization. And again, you can have these groups that may not be waging physical war-type jihad. They may be waging a stealth jihad. They may be waging a financial jihad. To me, that's still jihad, and we've got to stop it. And this bill provides the structure to be able to do it. But I don't. So I think the threat is a little bit more nuanced than to just say all of a sudden we're going to wake up and the legislature is going to do that. That of course that won't happen anytime soon. But the more that we're able to do to protect against that, I think is going to benefit Floridians for many years. You know, they're talking about in like Texas doing these like massive housing developments that are governed by Sharia. That's a non-starter in Florida. That is not something that is going to work. So it's those types of things rather than just saying all of a sudden the Florida legislature is going to start to implement. But yeah, so this was good. And again, what we've done in Florida time and time again is we get ahead of things before other states are doing it. So this is probably the most robust action that's been taken anywhere in the country. But would you expect anything different from us? I mean, that's kind of what we do. Oh, you shouldn't be worried about this. You know, I think it's some of the fights that we've had over the years. I mean, I remember we were fighting against the masks on the school kids, and at the time, oh my gosh, you can't. Now everybody looks back, and it was honestly, it was an embarrassment in this country that you had these 5-year-old kids suffocating for 8 hours a day in these masks. They didn't protect them from anything. They did accumulate a lot of germs and probably made it to where they're catching other things. But it's like, you know, so we were so far ahead of that. Now this, we were ahead against the corporate wokeness. You know, we had the little tussle with Disney, but at the time, these corporations were trying to impose this worldview through now. That doesn't happen in Florida. You don't see that anymore. So it's like, okay, had we not stepped up, who knows what would have ended up happening. You look at some of the curriculum in schools that we put our foot down on, trying to do indoctrination, particularly of the youth, on gender ideology and things. Now you see the tide's turned on that. You know, we got into it when we were very much swimming upstream. So that's just what we do, and we want to make sure that we're doing it in ways that are going to be really meaningful. And look, we're not trying to set the standard for others, but I think the reality is we've typically set the standard for others. Yes, ma'am.
Governor Collins has said that he is competing for your endorsement in the GOP gubernatorial primary. I wanted to ask you, are you planning to endorse anybody as your successor? If so, who's at the top of your list?
I think everybody knows that when I got something on my mind and I want to let people to know that people know. It's like we're not going to be shy about anything about what we're doing, and so it's not there's not going to be any type of mysteries. Like, you know, if I feel the need to do something, I do it. And so you guys can stand by and just watch.
Designation of terrorist groups, one of the things that naysayers of this bill say is that there's not going to be enough checks and balances. What are the benchmarks that you're going to use for designating these groups, and what are you going to look at when it comes to deciding when it's gone from activism to game?
Well, first of all, FDLE is going to do what intelligence and law enforcement agencies have been doing at the federal level for many decades in this country. Now, this is not just flying off the seat of your pants. This is something where we want to make sure that we do not have particularly state resources flowing to groups that are appendages of these designated terrorist organizations. And the federal government under the Trump administration has identified the Sunni Muslim Brotherhood, and I know that there's like, well, maybe they're not going to do Qatar. I don't know, like, kind of how that's landed. I can tell for us, you know, we're whole hog. Sunni Muslim Brotherhood is a DTO. That was what my executive order said. I would imagine that will be ratified when FDLE goes through their analysis. I mean, we weren't just doing this just to do it. This is stuff, there's been a record built up over many, many years. Now, until the feds had said they were going to proceed against the Brotherhood, we didn't want to be in a position where, you know, we were going opposite, you know, because they obviously have insight on different things. But once they acknowledged that this was something that was appropriate, we felt that we had the wherewithal to be able to use our authority to do it. Now you have statutory authority that is going to be added to that, and that's going to make a really, really big difference. So, look, I'm happy with this. I want to thank the folks in the legislature for stepping up and getting the job done. We've got more work to do. Obviously, there'll be other bills that'll be signed that I think are going to be very meaningful for this country's future, but then there's also a lot left to do. So I think the month of April should be a pretty eventful month in terms of some of the issues that are still hanging out there. And I think I speak for most of the members, whereas I think they want to get the job done, and then they want to put a bow on it, and they want to go, you know, back to their families, back to their jobs, and then those are running in cycle. They want to be out there campaigning. I mean, it could be a tough election cycle for Republicans. I mean, obviously we've had some hiccups along the way, and so the question is, you know, do you want to have me like dragging you in for 3 or 4 months, or do you just want to get the job done? I know where Jim stands on that, and Ben and some, but now's the time.
The difference with other countries helping is that they are helping the communists thrive in their country. Mexico is one of them. Like Mexico gave millions of dollars worth of books to indoctrinate the children in school. They give these donations to make it sound like they're helping Cuba with their schooling, but it's not. It is a communist indoctrination that they teach in the schools in Cuba, and they need to get rid of that. The other countries that have been benefiting from Cuba, why are they helping Cuba? If there is nothing of interest in Cuba, why are they helping them? It's not out of the goodness of their hearts. Something is being given back in return. And, it's one of those things where I think it's going to need billions of dollars. I think it's going to need billions of dollars for Cuba to come out of this, whatever it is that they're in, But if the majority of the Cuban people don't want it, then it's not going to happen because, unless Trump continues to do crazy stuff like we're doing right now, ending these terrorist organizations in the Middle East, if we do something similar, in Cuba, it'll be something to see, and a lot of Cubans are waiting for it. I mean, it is what it is. That's what people want, Here's a 2-minute clip. I think somebody put in. What was this? Let's say Cuba's on the edge of following the U.S. military strikes on Venezuela. That's just somebody else talking shit about it. Let me see. Let's see what Cash Jordan actually put on his YouTube here. He normally puts other content creators' videos together. Let's take a listen to him and see what he says about this.
When you say Cuba is next,
Cuba.
Will that look more like Iran or Venezuela?
Can't tell you that. I can tell you that they're talking to us. It's a failed nation. They have no money. They have no oil. They have no nothing.
So, as communist Cuba endures rolling blackouts and a lack of pretty much everything, their dictator has appeared at the negotiating table, likely out of fear, as the country's oppressed populace has now taken to the streets, ransacking the hallmarks of communism that represent the poverty they've known for half a century. Meanwhile, every time these despots look out their windows, they see U.S. warships surrounding their island. And experts say it's only a matter of days before they pack their bags and walk away.
Cuba is in the dark. The entire electrical grid collapsing today as the country struggles with an energy crisis, leaving millions on the island without power. It's been 3 months since a drop of oil has reached the country. Highways are empty because there's no gas.
The government is blaming the deteriorating conditions on the United States' fuel blockade on the island. President Trump has floated what he calls a friendly takeover of the island nation.
The bottom line is their economy doesn't work. It's a non-functional economy. It's an economy that has survived on subsidies from the Soviet Union and now from Venezuela. They don't get subsidies anymore, so they're in a lot of trouble.
Cuba is open to having a fluid commercial relationship with U.S. companies and also with Cubans residing in the United States.
We are asking the administration not to engage to stabilize economically the regime.
The Cuban regime is trying to buy time, as they always do.
But I think Cuba's the end. All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah.
Cuba is not like America, and when you see a headline like this, people protesting in a communist country and going after government buildings, this is unprecedented. And while the mainstream news is busy blaming Trump for all of this, nobody wants to admit that communist Cuba has never been able to stand on its own 2 feet or provide for its own people. This island regime has always been propped up by America's enemies, Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, because their economic system, communism, does not work. Doesn't guarantee wealth, but it does generate and guarantee.
But it always starts with the same story, right? They always start with the same story. Socialism. Oh, we're going to redistribute the wealth amongst everybody. Everybody's going to pitch in. You know what? Nobody wants to participate. We are taking over the business. Government takes the businesses, and now they're running the businesses. If the people want to make more money, too bad. Other people need money as well. And you grow this government power grab. And some people that are still kind of well off won't see anything wrong with it. But, you know, that's what I see. Let's see what you got in there, bro. Be honest, Cuba will take a lot of our money to get fixed. Do you think right now, at the way our economy is, do we have spare money to fix it? Nothing is free. Nothing is free. And I believe that we can, I don't know, one way or another, we can benefit from Cuba. Now, the one thing that I can tell you is, I mean, this is just spitballing, right? The one thing that I can tell you is that Cuba, at the poverty level that they are, you know, if they're going to have to be mentally rehabilitated to stop being a third world country, if you know what I'm saying. Meaning that they need to have those Cuban people that have the aspiration to beat somebody, to be somebody, to want to, you know, beat the odds, become business owners, you know, produce services. Like I know of, I don't know the families, I know of families in Cuba that they still have their farms away from the city, far away, but they still have their farmland. In one way or another, they're poor. They could be rich, but they're poor, you know, and they're doing that kind of business with it. You know, Cuban cigars, right? If you think about this, how many people can have go to a farm, right, for tobacco, and now all of a sudden, you know, Cuban cigars is a more accepted, which is kind of is today, right? But it's more accepted, and they start making money with that. Maybe the Cubans are making clothing. You know, maybe there's bananas. I don't know what I don't know what they have. Let me see what Cuba has. But you know, this is a reality that it always comes back to us as well, right? This is not our fight. This is not our place to be. But somehow we can help. And how do we help the Cuban people and the government there? If we get rid of communism, if Cubans want to get rid of communism and they change directions in how the government works, we already have an American territory in Cuba, right? Guantanamo. You know, if we can have an air base in Cuba, that's an advantage for us. It's a good investment. So to be able to give them money. Plus, there's a lot of Cubans here in the country. So if they want to help Cuba, I'll tell you this. If I was Cuban and they get rid of the communism, I will be so stoked to go back to Cuba. Go buy me a little spot of land, build me a little business. And the distance between Cuba and the United States of America, think about it. If you're thinking about importing and exporting, they can build a nice port. I mean, I don't know if they have a nice port right now, but they can build a nice port that will actually do business, huge business with the United States of America. You have to understand something, and this is something that people don't understand when they think about what if that. You have to think about it, and people forget. The United States of America is 1/3 of the world's market. Do you understand what that means? Every country can benefit from the United States of America. Any country. Now, we want to have factories here. For example, let me give you some examples. And I am with Trump on this. We want manufacturers, car manufacturers. We want iPhone manufacturers, Android manufacturers. We want chips. We want data centers. We want AI. We want all of these things. This is the expensive part of it, okay? This is the expensive part of it. And I think I mentioned some of this before. But if Honduras, for example, if Honduras can benefit from selling clothing to the United States, T-shirts, underwear, socks, shorts, whatever. Honduras can create a lot of clothing for the United States of America with cheap labor compared to what it is here in the United States. If you pay somebody down in Honduras, $8 to work per hour, that's a lot of freaking money. You can get away with paying them $5.50, $6 an hour, and they will produce all of this clothing, all these items. $5 an hour, you get 8 hours, you get 45, you get $50 a day, $50 times 10, 500, they get $1,500 a month, and that is just regular pay. $1,500 a month, you're living okay. You're living good in Honduras. But if you're working overtime, there's all these other extra hours that they can work so they can make all this extra money. Cuba, it's even closer. Cuba is almost kissing Miami. You know what I'm saying? So they can do sort of the same things. I mean, they can probably take the business away from Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. But what I'm saying is Cuba, it's a place where, when I think of Cuba, I think of the same environment as in Honduras, right? Tropical place. I think of mountains, maybe a little bit of valleys or whatever. I mean, the island is not really a huge island. And I think that it can be revived fairly quickly, considering where they're at right now. I really believe that Cubans can make a big difference in Cuba, but it will have to be rebuilt with Cubans from the United States. They will have to be privately owned businesses, something that communists don't like. So again, if they get rid of communism, then just imagine we will all be able to fly to Cuba without any fear of communists. That's going to bring the tourism up. Tourism is going to be huge. Tourism is huge. Whether you look at the old buildings, the classic cars, and then you go out into the middle of the island and you visit, other places like, maybe farms and things like that where they allow you to come in and visit and experience the Cuban culture and the food and the flora and the fauna, the coffee, the cigars. There's so many things to be said about Cuba. As a matter of fact, I will even dare say that if you invested in Cuba, once all of this is gone, if you invested in Cuba, I will even tell you that you are going to be well off. I really mean it. But it has to be privatized businesses. And that's something that, of course, needs to be regulated. Because just in the same token, somebody can take advantage of that as well, and it will suck. All right. Weekend says AOC thinks Venezuela is below the equator. It is. Wait a minute. So did I. Hold on. Let me see. World map. You mean north of the equator. Charlie says, come to Cuba, fool. Oh, man. I tell you what, man. Cuba is, for what I've seen on videos and what people tell me, Cuba really is an amazing place. It is. I mean, let's be honest. I've only seen Cuba from the air. So my information could be pretty biased, okay? Let me see. Where did this go? That's not what I want. Oh, okay. So it is taking me there. I can't tell, man. I wanted to see it myself, but So Venezuela, I guess. Venezuela is not south of the equator. Venezuela is located entirely in the northern hemisphere, just above the equator on the northern coast of South America. I guess. You know what? On that one, I don't even blame AOC on that one, to be honest. I haven't thought about that in ages. And, you know, the way that I look at it is I think that Panama, at least that's what I understood. I thought Panama was that the equator will go right through there because it's so close to Honduras. But according to this, I mean, it's right. It's actually like 550 miles north of the equator. That's funny, dude. Well, I can't blame AOC because I'm just as dumb as she is. I mean, really, somebody actually look at those things? I don't blame her. Listen, Central America, right? If you think about Central America, is between the North and the South continents, okay? So it would be fair to assume that the equator is right in the middle. But then we don't account for the tilt of the Earth, and I guess that would put Venezuela up in the northern part of it. But I don't blame AOC on that one. She can have my benefit of that on that one because I thought the same thing. Well, you know what? At least we got to see that. Let me see. This is a clip from a couple of weeks ago. Just wanted to touch up on this.
And that is Cubans ransacking the Communist Party headquarters on Saturday and making a bonfire with the office furniture there. Cubans are suffering from food and fuel shortages under the communist regime, and demonstrations are intensifying. Let's bring in Rosa Maria Paya. She's a Cuban human rights activist and founder of Cuba Decide. Great to have you.
She's a Cuban. She's a Cuban bean. Oh, man, I want to have some Cuban food right now, I'll tell you that. My favorite beans are Cuban black beans. That is my favorite beans. Although I do love some beans from this company, and if you know anything about beans, let's see. Let me see if I can. This right here. Well, I don't know why this is on eBay, but it's on eBay. This right here. That, my friends, if you want to eat beans, these are the beans that I recommend for you to buy. If you have an Amazon account, look it up. This is on eBay, but, whatever. Look on Amazon. Look for that. Naturas frijoles. The best beans that you will ever have. These beans taste better than the beans at the Mexican restaurants. Hands down. I guarantee it. Now, when you make your beans, depending on your flavor that you want, all you got to do is add a little bit of salt if you need it. I don't. But you can add a little bit of salt. And I'm going to give you a secret. Okay? You can use, I don't know what kind of butter you like or oil. But when you are refrying them, these guys, they're already cooked. You can literally just eat them cold. Okay? They are already cooked. If you like oil, use whatever oil you want. But I want to say, be generous with that oil if you really like that oil. You're going to heat them, reheat them again, refry them at like low to medium heat. Low to medium heat. Now, I recommend that you use butter. I have a special butter that I use to cook my steaks. Use that butter and just let the butter melt and then throw the beans on top. You can calculate, 1 spoon or whatever. Use the spoon to measure. And I guarantee you, you will come back to my channel and be like, bro, I tried those Honduran beans. They are the best. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. What do we got here? I think that if Trump's agenda was to liberate other countries from their current regimes, he should have started with Cuba. No, because because you have to understand. So the way that I think about, and this is why I agree with Trump, is we have this country named China, right? We started with tariffs. They fought us until they couldn't fight us anymore with tariffs. Okay, that was a war. That was an economical war. We still seeing the results. Now we saw a lot of price dropping in products, eggs, etc. The left, they still denied it. Till this day, it never happened. Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, if you like oil, that's you. I like butter. But what we started doing is first we started fighting against the whole fentanyl crisis, drug crisis. Fentanyl coming from China, China sending it to Mexico, Mexico bringing it in across the border and killing over 800,000 Americans. Okay, fast forward, what do we got to do? China gets oil from Venezuela. China is giving fentanyl to Mexico. Mexico is giving communist education to Cuba. Mexico is protecting Venezuela. So what do we got to do? Well, first of all, we don't war just to to take the money from the people. If we're going to go and attack something, obviously we're warring against drugs and cartels, right? Against terrorists. That's the war that we have on. Not on the countries. That's different. I think that Venezuela was the right move. Venezuela was the right move. And then the second reason why Iran is the best move is because they are also providing oil to China. It's sort of like crippling China a bit, even though they're still getting their shit, right? You want to strategize. So how do you strategize? First of all, let's take out these boats, drug boats. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, there is a reward for Nicolas Maduro's head. Okay, let's go get it. Get him out of there. Maria Machado asked for help a couple years back, and she says, we will give you $1 trillion worth of oil if you help get rid of these communists out of this country. And then you'll have access to rare earth minerals. Well, at the last second, Nicolas Maduro offered the same deal, except now we'll take Nicolas Maduro out of the way. Now, Delcy Rodriguez fought us for a little bit and started talking smack to the people, talking smack about the United States to the people, so that she can look like a tough, I'm still, the same as Nicolas Maduro, because one vote from Chavez is one vote for Maduro. One vote for Maduro is one vote for Rodriguez. And so what do we have? Now we got control of Venezuela, so to speak. Not really, but, it's working. We're working. And then now we're taking care of Iran. We use the excuse that they killed thousands of their own people. We use the excuse that they said that they had the capability to have nuclear weapons, up to 11 of them. Now, we have a DNI over here that gave us a report that says we don't see an imminent threat, and that's fine. But when the president sees that this guy says death to America and that guy decides to kill his own people, I tend to believe him. And I think it's just a matter of time before they get those weapons behind our backs, because they will lie to us as they have for many decades, and then they're going to attack us. So now that we can, once we finish with Iran, the Hormuz Strait is the last thing that they got to work on. We still cannot stop completely because the Iranian people still need us. Now, I want to tell you, we destroyed the Air Force. We destroyed the Navy fleet. We already done the hardest part, I think. Okay? This is the part where if people want to use the Strait of Hormuz to get their oil, hey, they need to go fight for that shit. We're not going to fight for everybody. We did our best. We did what we could. Now that Iran decides to attack them with missiles, they should have been like, wait a freaking minute. United States is attacking you. Why are you attacking us? Now we're going to kick your ass as well. But they didn't do that. They wimped out. They wussed out and said, no, we don't want to get involved. We want diplomatic talks. It's so much easier to talk. I'm afraid to go to war. I'm afraid. And they're still losing their country. They're losing their country to illegal immigrants and Muslim terrorists. It happens to be the group that does this. For some reason, every single country is going through the same shit with these terrorist Muslims. What else can you talk about? If that is the group that's doing this. And I find it very ironic and stupid and just unbelievable that people till this day still blame Israel. They still talk about Israel. How many missiles did Israel throw to the European Union when Hamas was attacking them? Not one. How many missiles did they throw to Qatar? Not one. To the Arab Emirates? Not one. They decided to go right there. Boom, 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 against Hamas. With that being said, you have to understand that there is a strategy. So when we finish with Iran, we already got Rubio in Cuba. He's a Cuban descent. So we already got Rubio down there trying to make it happen, right? He's already involved with these people. We got 18 Latin countries joining us in our fight against the cartels. And I like that. That's what I've been asking for many, many years. And finally, I see a president that can do it. I'm happy for Trump. If he runs for a third term, I would vote for him. If it wasn't because now he's going to be way too old. I'm a realist. I think this is it. I don't think he should do another term. You know what I'm saying? So and then we go to Cuba. So now we have established dominance across the world. And regardless what the leftist people come and tell me on my channel, oh, Iran has won this war. Shut the hell up. What are you watching? What are you watching? I don't know if you're paying attention at all. But what the hell are you watching if you come into my channel and tell me Iran is winning this war? Please. Please. Now, with all that being said, I think Cuba can be very prosperous. I think it can be saved. It can be rehabilitated. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I wish that it becomes a United States territory for their sake and our strategical defensive point. And I also, well, this is just me. You know, this is just me. Let me see. How do you attract the country that is taking over of a currency on crude oil by taking over their food? Venezuela, Iran, Cuba, etc. Well, because Venezuela was already doing it. What do you mean? We're not taking it. Their government did. Their government was stopping food from getting to Venezuela. The government was stopping food from getting to Cuba. Their government. So we're not going to play games with them. You are disrupting our economy in one way or another. And right now, yes, the gas is expensive. Wait a minute. Why am I doing advertising for this frijoles? They're not a sponsor, by the way. I just want to make sure that I throw that out there. They are not a sponsor of this channel. Now, you want to get this right here. I have to say it because I gave you the wrong picture. I apologize. This right here is what you want. You want refried red beans. That's the one you want. I mean, they're both good, but that's the one you want, okay? Refried red beans is what you want. So anyways, that's just the way that it is. That's what makes sense to me. That's what common sense is. I talk to Cubans. This is what they tell me. And I agree with them. I talk with Venezuelans. They agree with me. You know what? When I talk to people about what happens in Honduras, how can somebody from Mexico tell me that I'm lying about Honduras? How can one American from somewhere else in the world can tell me that I'm lying about Honduras? When I experience it, I live it, I breathe it. Did you see me scared in Honduras? when I was over there eating doing my lives? No, you still got to be careful. You still got to look around, make sure nobody will try to take your phone. I do that shit here. The only difference is over here I got my gun. In Honduras, I didn't have my gun. But it's the same thing. You're not fearful, but you still got to be careful and be mindful of your surroundings. You know, I get this Mexican calling in here and trying to act like he's some righteous Mexican that is as great as American citizen. And come in here and tell me that I was so fearful when I was in Honduras. Who the hell are you to tell me that I'm being fearful in my country? That kind of stupidity, it pisses me off. So I tend to believe people, or at least I will try to take it with a little grain of salt, that they're telling me the truth. And what I see, if it makes sense to me, I'm going to believe it. If it doesn't, I'll question it, and then I'm going to go ahead and do some research and make sure that it's right. You know what time it is. It's that time, guys. Somebody over here, this Guarino, which I know has a heavy-ass accent, talking about my accent.
Driving the infidel... What are they?
Nothing. Carry on.
Driving the infidels from our motherland. We are not afraid to... Are they subtitles? They are, aren't they?
No.
Well, what do I need subtitles for? Can't you understand what I'm saying? I studied English at the bloody American University in Cairo.
Well, obviously I can understand what you're saying.
Oh,
but
you see how they condescend to us with their subtitles.
Oh, maybe it's teletext, for the hearing impaired.
Teletext?
No, a lot of TVs come with teletext nowadays.
Wait, say something again.
My friend has an 80-something...
Hey, how come he doesn't need subtitles?
Well, obviously he's comprehensible.
No, and I'm not!
Look, if you...
I speak perfect English. She sells seashells by the seashore. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Round the ragged rocks, Oh!
The situation remains as dangerous and volatile as ever here in northern Iraq. While the rebuilding continues...
What? I can't understand you speak English. Where are your subtitles now? Oh, you think you're so good. Look at me. I got subtitles.
Kerry Downs, Iraq.
Shut up.
So shut up about my accent. Stop making fun of my accent. You know, I love all of you guys, man. I love everybody that actually supports me, and I appreciate them. I love everybody else, but I don't appreciate you when you come in here talking shit about me. With that being said, I want to say thank you guys so much for being with me tonight, this morning as well. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for becoming members if you did that. Mindspeak, Cutting Edge, and all of those of you that gave me super chats today. Thank you for that support. I appreciate you. You all be blessed. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the USA. I will see you guys on the next one.